All right, welcome in. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. It is, it's good to be alive and breathing and with my friends here and all of you Tier 1s out there, certainly in, by the way, America's finest city. I mean, this could be so much worse. We could be in some dump and have a bad baseball team. We just have one of those two. At least we live here. And, could always be worse. That's how I look at it. Could always be worse. I still love baseball. It's waning. Watching this team, it's waning a little bit, but we are here together. We'll get through it as we always do. I'd like to have some laughs today. Like to break some balls today. Like to have some fun, share some things, as we normally do here on Ben and Woods. But people are already filling up the chat. I love it. Already arguing. It's fantastic. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's our executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing very well. We are out of toner in the printer.
Fixed.
It's fixed.
It's fixed.
Okay, all right. I'll settle down. All right.
Get through one segment.
okay,
I'll get you your
okay.
beloved rundown that you have a digital copy every morning.
I'm looking at the digital one. It's not the same. As you know, I like to hold it in my hands and finger it every morning.
Are you Don Orsillo with
Yes.
the paper snap of confidence over there?
That's exactly right. I just need it. I need the physical copy. Benjamin Higgins, your
I
friend.
alerted our engineers. I said, Woodsy's going to
He's
go
gonna
on
lose
a
his mind.
rampage.
He's going
if you
to
don't
lose
get
his
the
mind.
toner filled immediately, Mike.
Yeah, 100%. And Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor and masochist, is here as well.
Good morning.
You still enjoy getting lit cigarettes put out on you virtually every night on Twitter. It's just every time I see one, I go, he's at it again. Here he is. He's tied to
There's the gimp mask.
He's tied to a table, and there is a lady next to him, and she is, okay, you little bitch.
Hot candle
Putting
wax.
cigarette out on his chest, and he's laying there going, oh, yes, I need it. Yes, could you grind
Thank you.
Could you grind your high heels into me right now, please? And then he's just like, oh, God, that was good. Oh, my God. Whew.
Do it again.
Do it again. More. You are something else, my friend. You are something else.
Just like to point out
Yeah, I know.
interesting and
I know you love that.
odd factoids. That's all I like to do.
Yes, with a little bit of masochistic tendencies in there, which is okay. I'm not here to kink shame you at all. I'm a big fan of your kinks. And it goes directly into this story that I'm about to tell you.
Interesting.
So yesterday, got out of here, and we went and did something as a show. We'll talk about that at 8. It was, let's just say it was our pretty woman moment, okay? So let that run around in your brain for a while. Really, really fun day. Got to spend some time together outside of the show, which is always fun for us. So I race home. Bo's at baseball camp. So I race home. I got about 45 minutes to go home, and I didn't do that. I just had to, like, I don't know, just like relax for 45 minutes, get some stuff in order, and then head down to his baseball camp. But I walk in, and my kitchen is, my wife, it was clean as a whistle. Nothing out of the ordinary, except for this workbook that I found on the counter that I've actually brought in today.
Haven't seen a workbook in a long time.
Correct, right? So I said to myself, well, let me.
So I says to the guy.
So I says, I look at the workbook, I pick it up, and I go, Birds plus Bees plus Your Kids, a guide to sharing your beliefs about sexuality, love, and relationships. So I pick it up.
It's time for the talk already.
I throw it
Is
down.
it time for the talk? I feel like you're a little early for the talk.
And I go, what is she doing? We have so much going on this summer. There's camps. This is not the time. So I put it out of my mind. I go down to watch Bo do camp. He does a great job at camp. Then Hannah takes him to the dentist. I pick up Taylor. I take Taylor to his T-ball clinic. I was going all day. I was running around, baseball. It was fun. The kids loved it. They had a great time. So we get home, and I go, hey, by the by, what is this? And she goes, your son. And I go, what do you mean, my son? So in our neighborhood, we have one of those little boxes that has books in it, and you put some books in. You can take a
Oh
book
yeah,
out. Right.
a public mini library.
Yeah.
Like it. Yeah,
And
we
it's-
have one of those too, actually.
And it's pretty cool. It's down by where my wife walks the dog. So Taylor goes down for dog walks, and he goes in and he likes to look at the books. So this little SOB grabs this book. My 3-year-old grabs this book.
Oh my God.
Hannah doesn't notice. It is basically just like, oh, he got a book. It looks like a coloring book or something. She goes, I didn't even know what it was till he got it home, and I started laughing. And I'm like, oh, the relief I felt, because what I didn't want to happen was this. Hey, guys, sit down. I know you just both got out of baseball camp. Mom's got dinner coming. While we're here, let me get to this workbook, and we'll just open it up to...
Let's do some homework.
Yeah, well, here you go. All right, we'll open this up here.
feel like I may learn something in this segment.
You may.
Still.
You may. Just open this book here. All right, kids. What do you think about girls who offer sex to boys they barely know? Taylor, go ahead. Bo, your thoughts? I'm looking.
Is there like a space to write your answer
Oh,
in?
yeah.
Or...
Oh, it's like a thing.
Okay.
Hey, guys, what was the message you received in childhood about self-stimulation and masturbation?
Carlos says, what psychopath put that in there?
Some deviant is in my neighborhood
Yes.
handing out sex workbooks for my kids to see. Right? So, I mean, I'm looking through this thing.
It sounds like healthy talk, at least. Are there illustrations?
There are no illustrations.
Okay, see?
All right, here we go. I'll just read from the book. Here's a simple script you can use with your kids when they're engaging in any type of sexual play. Even if you catch your teenager in the living room having sex. Please be sure to make these words your own. Sounds like our sales department. Hey, just make this your own. I'm going to give you bullet points. Just make this spot your own.
Put your own spin on it.
Put your own spin on this.
Make it spooky.
Yeah, make it spooky. All right, your tone should be calm, even if you're completely freaked out. Because your kids want you to know you can handle anything. All right, step 1, describe the behavior. I see you and Billy are looking at each other's penises.
Oh my God.
Step 2, describe your reaction. I feel uncomfortable when this happens. Why don't you pull up your pants and let's go play outside? We'll talk about this later.
What?
Ask yourself, what just happened here? What is my intuition telling me? Ask yourself, what do I need to do next? If the behavior continues, start with, I've told you this before. This needs to stop, and we'll talk about this later. Literally, I'm reading it verbatim right now about you.
Pull up your pants and let's go outside and talk. I was not ready
Here
for
we
this.
go. Here's another
I was
one.
not prepared for this.
Can't we just do what most parents do and awkwardly ignore everything
Correct.
and never speak of it again?
Correct.
Holy crap.
Teenagers these days, this is a real paragraph. Teenagers these days are engaging in a lot of sexual behavior that can be adult-like and quite startling to parents. For example, imitating on the dance floor is called freak dancing or sex dancing. I did not know that. And it's happening at nearly every middle and high school dance. This is when the boy stands behind the girl who, while dancing, provocatively bends over as the boy is dancing and sometimes rubbing against her. It looks like sex, a lot like sex, is what this says. This is my 3-year-old grabbed this home and brought that, and that's in the...
You need to find out who left that book there. I need security cameras. You have an absolute maniac living in your neighborhood.
Like, I can't even imagine being like, all right, here, let me give you this book. Go fill this out. Bring it back to me. We'll go over your answers. Like, oh my God, man. So there was a multitude of feelings that I had when I came home because
There's just no age, though. I mean, your kids are obviously much too young, but even
6 and 3,
even
is
an
too
age
young.
appropriate 13-year-old or whatever it is, it's still not. It's not going to fly.
You know,
workbook.
You're right.
Scenario.
It needs to be. You don't want to know how I've envisioned this conversation happening. You know, when Bo is about maybe 10, 11, and Taylor's about 7 or 8. Gents, I don't camp. but we're going camping. Okay? I do not camp, but we are going camping. And we make a fire, we're roasted marshmallows. I go, all right, fire away. What do you got? You like girls. I see you like girls. It's fine. Everything's cool. Or boys, whatever. What do we want to know here? Fire away. I'm your old man. Got some experience here. I'll tell you the ins and outs. No pun intended. Right? So, I don't know. Maybe that's just my sappy romantic
Do you feel like
idea.
you know all the answers, though? Maybe,
I do. I feel like I know all the answers.
You
yeah.
know all the
Mhm.
answers.
Yeah, I feel like I know every answer.
Because your dad took you camping at
No.
some point and answered all your questions?
I do remember my dad took me in a room in like sixth grade and was like, all right. It was the most uncomfortable day of my life. And I've had some really uncomfortable days. That one was right up there for me. So, yeah. I think we're just going to take this back. Actually, I think I'm just going to throw this away.
Yes.
I think I'm just going to throw it away.
Yes.
Leave it here. If Braden or Scraby or Craig or anybody, they want to use it, they can. But I'm going to leave this here in the studio.
We will give it away at the Ben and Woods Open.
Ben and Woods Open. If anybody needs a sex book for their kids and learn about freak dancing and sex dancing. Oh, look at those two kids over there, sex dancing. Never heard that in my
It's
life.
The lambada.
Yeah, the lambada. The lambada. Those damn kids in their lambada.
My God.
Well, I figured we needed a little bit of levity today. When I saw that book, man, I go, how dare she? Why would she heap this on us this summer? Like, we have so many camps already. I mean, we're not doing this summer.
Also, Bo's 6.
He's 6. He's 6. You mentioned he has a little friend that he has a little friend and she is obsessed with him. And they go on play dates and stuff. And I always give him the ooh, and he, shut up, Dad, shut up. And I'm like, all right. I go, you think it's bad now? Wait till you're actually dating. I'm going to be your biggest nightmare. But yeah, listen, a little levity is certainly needed.
Well, maybe we put it out on a poll, or we just talk about it internally here. Do we want to talk about the Padres for the next 3 hours and 40 minutes, or do we just want to read that entire book?
I could just
cover
read,
to cover?
and we could take your answers. You could call in. We could fill out the workbook together. Yeah, I think the intentions behind it are good and pure, but maybe not the best book for my 3-year-old to grab out of the library. Maybe a Bluey book or something like that would have been better. But man, I laughed so hard, dude, when I found out that, she ordered this from Amazon and has left it out for me to see.
I don't think
to
it's the
take the
worst
reins.
idea for you to call the police and let them know that somebody left that book in there.
It's not
I would not think that that's overreacting.
But it's not like how to practice BDSM at home. You know what I mean? Like, that would be a different story.
It's a very positive resource.
It is.
Perhaps, for people.
It is, man. But holy crap, dude. It killed me.
I assume someone in your neighborhood had used it on their...
No, it's not filled out.
Well, they may have read through it with maybe their teen or something, and then they realized, I don't need this anymore, so let's see if someone else in my neighborhood can make good use of it.
Yeah, potentially. I think there's probably good intentions behind it, but it really, really, it made me laugh. I needed it yesterday. It was a long and stressful day. Wasn't made any easier by our local baseball club, who continues to just get bodied. And you look at those two teams playing each other. That's what the hardest part for me has been, is watching that organization and going, oh, that must be fun. That's cool. Elite pitching, elite hitting, elite defense, elite, ability to take base, whatever.
They got thrown out on the base paths
They did.
a couple times.
They did. But
Dummies.
right, morons.
Dummies.
But again, because of their elite hitting, and it overcomes all. They're a really, really good, well-run organization, and they've made a lot of really good decisions. And they, as we talked to Matt Strom yesterday, everyone in there knows the objective at hand. It doesn't need to be told to them, and doesn't need to be reinforced to them. They know what they're there to do.
The media doesn't have to.
The media doesn't have to harp on them every day, right? They just do what they have to do, and they know why they're there. And that's the thing, is like, if you use teams as a measuring stick, you look at that organization and go, okay, yeah, they're by no means a perfect or complete team, but you look at them and go, you're headed in the right direction. That's the underlying theme for me today. It's the dumbest, easiest answer ever. Are we headed in the right direction here in San Diego? Or are we just backed in a corner, forced to make panic moves every single year and then wait for the underperforming that will most certainly happen? That's how it feels.
Again, 2 shows ago, Friday, we were all fairly convinced the team was heading
No, we weren't.
in a somewhat positive direction.
No, we weren't.
We weren't.
No, I said we have like 3 of us on the round table said no. There's no sweeping the A's and having to do so on 2 walk-offs doesn't mean this team's turned a corner. It was nice to get their first sweep and get that monkey off their back, but
You absolutely should have.
you absolutely should have, but they didn't. They did not.
No kudos for doing your job.
Correct. So, yeah, it's definitely headed in the wrong direction at this point. Can it be remedied? Sure, it can. Will it? I don't think so, but we'll talk about it and then some. It's a tough one.
All right, we will set the menu when we come back. Let you know what we've got in store on today's program. And we'll do that after a check of traffic with Kelly Danick. I was not expecting that in our Foreplay segment.
Glad I could help.
Literal Foreplay segment here.
Literally.
With Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Basketball man feels obligated to mention the NBA Finals did end last night with a Boston Celtics victory.
Yeah, Basketball Woods watched some of the game. That's how bad
It was a horrible
Well,
series.
but that's how bad the Padres
That's
were.
true,
It
too.
drove me to the NBA Finals, and I watched them.
I think I texted you guys. I was like, "Hey, finals are on in 5 minutes at least."
Yeah, I watched them take.
Go ahead. Here, give us your takes.
Basketball Woods.
The music is playing. Basketball Woods. What'd you see? Do you agree with Jaylen Brown as the series MVP, or should it have gone to Tatum or even Holiday?
I think it was a good choice. I really do. I think it was a good choice. I mean, you talk about a team. They talked all about in the post game being unselfish. Being unselfish, being an actual team. Rising. It is something, though, that you say after you win a championship. Hey, man, we didn't let the distractions get to us. We never hung our head. It's just player speak after you win a title. But no, I mean, look, they dominated. They dominated that game. They dominated every game but one. Congratulations to the Celtics. And, hey, congrats to Boston for breaking that 5-year championship streak that they were on, I believe. I believe it was 5 years. Drought.
Wow.
Is that right?
The city of Boston had not won one in 5 years.
Yeah, is that right? I think that's what I saw last night.
Who won the last one? The Patriots? 5 years
Bruins,
ago?
maybe? Did the Bruins
Maybe.
win one?
The Celtics hadn't won
They
one
hadn't won
since
one in
2008.
forever. Yeah.
Which was their first one since 1986. But now they have one more than the Lakers, 18-17.
5 long years for those Boston fans.
I don't know how they do it.
Maggie, who's
This
on
too shall
before
pass.
us, was
Maggie from Maggie and
Perloff was arguing, hey, this is one of the great NBA teams of all time, like it or not. Perloff was not having any of it. He goes, I mean, how can you say that? You're not a dynasty at all. You win one. The recent trend is you win one and then you don't win another one for a while. It's been one-off champions year after year lately. But if you just look at one season, what the Celtics did in the regular season, they dominated all year long, and then they went 16-3 in the playoffs. I mean, you're talking about Jordan Bulls type territory, how good this particular team was. I have no idea if they'll reel off 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, or this may be the only one. But this particular team, even though they didn't necessarily get tested by anyone in the postseason, you've got to acknowledge that they had one of the all-time seasons, at least, in NBA history.
Patriots in 18, Ben.
Yeah.
And also the Red Sox in 18. What a year. What a year. Yeah, so they'd gone, 5 seasons since winning a championship in the city of Boston. So
Thoughts and prayers for those.
thoughts and
long
prayers
5
for
years.
those childs up there, man, just getting after it. That place went crazy last night. It was never really a series. It never was a series.
It was horrible.
It was terrible.
It was a terrible NBA Finals. There were 2 games that were within 10. The rest of them were complete blowouts. Even the Dallas one wasn't a good game at all, and you never felt like they had a chance in last night's game either. Terrible series. And the same can be said about the Stanley Cup Finals, assuming it ends tonight the same way, which would be after Edmonton blows out Florida in Game 4 to keep it alive. Florida will come back tonight and win easily, and that'll be it. And we'll be done with basketball and hockey season post-haste. All right, here's what we've got coming up on the program today. Obviously, we'll wrap up yesterday's 9-2 loss to the Phillies. I think one of the more interesting elements, though, is addressing what Mike Shildt had to say after the game. The man is not concerned, or at least is going to continue to project a lack of long-term concern.
Yeah.
Zero concern.
Zero was his word. And he even said, no, we'll be in October where we want to be. No one forced him to say that.
No.
I don't believe anyone, even AJ, has a gun at his head going, you better say something nice about this team or, it's over for curtains for you. So he said that on his own volition. We can address what Mike Shildt had to say after one of the uglier losses of the season, at least scoreboard-wise for the Padres.
I think it's very important that we take that comment out of context and say that Mike Shildt guarantees a postseason run. A postseason appearance, at least.
Yeah.
He certainly believes it's going to happen.
Okay.
I don't think that he could deny that after what he said yesterday. So we'll go through the game and those comments. We will play our normal game of Take on Woods at 7:10, qualify someone for Las Vegas, and don't do this at 7:20. But it's also a giveaway Tuesday. We've got prizes galore, as it were. We have Padres tickets for Thursday's Padres Brewers game that you can win a little bit later. And
German Heritage Night.
it's German Heritage Night.
Oh, great.
That's a theme game, though. If you wanted the German Heritage Limited Edition Padres hat, you'll need a theme game ticket for that
Just playing the Scorpions not the Scorpions, Kraftwerk. That's going to be great.
one. And we
Berlin,
have another
who you love.
I don't think Berlin is
Maybe
a
not, but
German
they're
band.
from Berlin.
I think they're just named
They're
Berlin.
called Berlin.
But Rammstein.
Rammstein, du hast nicht.
And then we also have another pair of tickets to the Doobie Brothers at North Island
they're from-
Credit Union Amphitheater.
They're from L.A.
Berlin.
Yeah, of course. And there's a German band called Los Angeles. They're really good. You guys will like them.
Santa Monica.
As speaking of bands, as promised yesterday, if you want to win the Doobie Brothers tickets, you have to listen for our sounder. This is just a reminder of what it sounds like.
is
Don't
not
call
it.
yet.
Don't call.
call yet.
Don't call.
But what a fool believes. That's the actual Doobie Brothers right there singing one of their great hits, What a Fool Believes. When you hear that, call 833-288-0973 sometime between now and 10 a.m. for your chance to win 2 tickets to the Doobie Brothers on June 25th. Second half of the program, we will have Jesse Agler joining us, and it is National Jesse Day.
That's incredible, man.
So we will
What are the
have
odds?
an authentic Jesse to celebrate with us on National Jesse Day. We can talk about last week's Incorporator that I don't think ever happened, unless maybe we missed it.
I
And
don't think it ever happened.
We can talk about it with Jesse. And then Reindl Report in our 9 o'clock hour. And then we're off tomorrow. It's our golf tournament. It's a company holiday. So get your fill of Ben and Woods between now
Not
and
just
10
us.
o'clock.
Everybody's off tomorrow.
Yeah, whole lineup. We will have a Padres game here tomorrow, the road trip finale in the morning. But other than that, no other programming from us tomorrow. So we won't be back until Thursday. So let's have a good show today. Let's have a fun show today. Let's have a spicy show today. And we'll start it out with our Padres wrap-up. Coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 8 straight road losses for the team that was the best road team in the National League a week and a half ago. Make it make sense, Woods. Make it make some sense. That's our job, is to try to make sense of it all.
Can't alibi it, man.
We must not be very good at our job because I can't make sense of the San Diego Padres.
Obviously, we're not. What did you say? Your tweet that will haunt me, or your text that will haunt me for the rest?
Nothing that we ever say about this team feels correct or meaningful, or something to that effect.
It will haunt me for the rest of my life. What the F is it? God, we text a lot. Jesus. I feel like nothing we ever say about this team is correct or meaningful. Yeah, it's almost impossible to cover this team. It has
good
been
or bad
for a couple of years. But
the second you really
buy in,
oh no, but the second you also wash your hands and go, there's just no way, they will show you signs of life and pull you back in and go, okay, now I remember why this team actually was in the wild card, race and above 500 for the last couple of weeks, because they go on runs where they look pretty good at times.
Yeah, I wouldn't call them runs. There's little bursts, maybe.
Bursts.
Yeah, bursts. Tiny little sprints. Runs. I need a marathon. Even a half marathon would be fantastic.
Maybe a 5K.
The 5K,
Let's start with a 5K.
Let's start with a 5K and work our way up. Actually, I'll take a mile. 1 mile, which is one win.
Just a jog.
Just a nice, relaxing jog. I'd love to win today for the San Diego Padres. But, yeah, man, it is, last night you're out of it immediately. It's done.
Yesterday
It
was 0-0 for 2 innings, but it always felt like the tsunami was coming.
Oh, yeah.
Against Randy Vasquez. We'll go through it. Yesterday's 9-2 loss with our Padres wrap-up. We'll get into that right after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danek.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company. Visit them at airmax.com. Still quite a bit of activity on our roads this morning, guys. Collision on northbound 125 on the 8th Street off-ramp. Also, collision on the Santo Road on-ramp to eastbound 52. Looks like that could have been touched off by some gravel in the roadway, so just take it extra carefully there. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam still shows this crash in the North County, southbound 15 past Old Highway 395. It's over the right shoulder, but further down, that accident has cleared your Gopher Canyon. Northbound side of the 15 before Felicita, there is a collision involving a pickup truck and a semi. They're over the right shoulder. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company, with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See by over 1,300 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame, it's a shame, it's a shame, it's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
First pitch to him, swung on, lined into left center field. He has found the gap. That's going to bounce down, hit up against the wall. Merrill plays it well. Bone being waved around third. Kim's relay is on the way to the plate. The tag, and he is out at home. Beautifully done by Merrill and Kim and Higashioka. And 2 down here in the bottom of the second. 2-0 pitch, swung on, hit in the air deep to right center field. They're going to forget it on this one, way back, and out of here for Schwarber. May have come down in the Padre bullpen. Hard to see. Absolute moonshot to right center for Schwarber. His 15th of the year. It's a 2-run shot, and now 2-0 Phillies in the bottom of the third. 2-2 slow roller to the right side. That'll get the run home. Charged by Stott at second. Glove flip to first. Just in time to get Cronenworth. And he crosses the plate. An RBI ground out. And the Philly lead is now 3-1. Swung on. Hit in the air to left field. Very deep. Profar is back on the warning track. He is at the wall. Leaps up. Gonna go. Home run, Alec Bohm. A 3-run shot. And now 60 runs batted in for the Philadelphia third baseman. They lead it 6-1. Pitch to Schwarber, hit in the air to right center field, deep again. Merrill's back at the wall and into the Philadelphia bullpen. His second home run of the night. Two-run shot in the third, another two-run shot here in the sixth. It is 8-1 Philadelphia. Solano in the air to right center field, well struck. Marsh into the gap, still going on the move, won't get there. Bounces up on the warning track against the wall. Profar got a great read. He's going to score all the way from first base. An RBI double for Donovan Solano. And now 8-2 here in the seventh. First pitch swinging, sharp grounder to short, diving stop Turner. Flips to second one, Merrifield to first in time, a double play, and the ball game is over. Pretty much all-around dominance by the Phillies here tonight. They take game one of the series 9-2.
You know, long-term 0. I have no concern about this club at all. I have complete confidence. This too shall pass. We're in a situation where today was the first game that's really gotten away from us in almost all season, right? Every game's been right there.
What? Really? We lose like 9-1 or 10-1 to the Marlins.
Yeah, I looked back at it because I know a lot of people were not happy with that comment. There has been 4 games this year that really kind of got out of hand with the Padres. They were kind of bodied. The rest of the losses, you kind of make an argument that, yeah, they were in them late in the game, didn't come up with the hits, whatever. But it hasn't been a major problem where the Padres have just been totally outclassed from the very beginning, never came back, never had a chance.
If it's 4 games,
it's not,
but it ain't 1 game.
It's not an entirely accurate statement by Mike Shildt. It's not entirely wrong either. It's definitely depends on what color glasses you put on, and we know what color glasses that Mike Shildt puts on.
It's wrong. To say that was the only game this year.
He said it was pretty much the only game. Which is,
you're like me arguing with my wife right now.
I said
it's not pretty much.
It's not entirely correct. It's not entirely wrong. And I'm trying to be fair to Mike Shildt because it hasn't been a major problem for the Padres. They haven't just been. Every game has been completely disastrous, and they just get bodied every game.
It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter if you lose by 1 or you lose by 8. L's are L's, and you're not stacking dubs, and that's what you need to do. The term I see a lot with Mike Shildt, and I think it's fair. It's a fair discussion. Is gaslighting. You're telling me that I'm not seeing something. You're telling me what I'm seeing is wrong. I'm watching this with my own eyes, and no, I don't have 30 years in the great game. I don't. But I know enough to know what I'm seeing isn't good. And when you tell me I'm eating,
it's tough.
You tell me I'm eating steak, and I know that this is a hamburger, but you tell me that it's a filet. I know it's not. I know it's not. And you tell me, and you know what? I will defend him a little bit in this. He has the absolute right to say, I'm not concerned a bit. He has the right to say that, okay? I have the right, you have the right, you get as the fans, you have the right to say, well, I am concerned. And therein lies the headbutting between, the two factions. I actually don't have a problem with him saying he's not concerned to the press. He's concerned. He's not a moron. Of course he's concerned. This is a guy, Ben, that is, like everybody, fighting, managing for his job. The funny thing about baseball is this. The majority of the players on the team, which is where I put 99.9% of responsibility, they're not fighting for a job. They're good. They're fine. They're going to have a job. The majority of the 26-man roster. There's very few guys fighting for their lives out there. There's a few, absolutely. But for the most part, those guys, they got a gig. They know they're going to show up. They know
Profar, for example, he's playing for a contract next year.
They know they're going to be in the lineup, though. They know somebody's going to have them and pay them, But for the most part, he's fighting for his life right now.
I had this thought last night, and perhaps Mike Shildt is somewhat satisfied because the things that he said he wanted to see his team do. He wants them to put the ball in play, hit more for average. He wants his pitchers to strike out guys and not walk guys.
Right.
Things that he says leads to victories. They are doing. Padres are still first in Major League Baseball in batting average. They're second. Their pitchers are second in strikeouts. They walk very few batters. These are the things that Mike Shildt says leads to winning baseball. And for the most part, that is usually an accurate statement. Teams that do that win. The Padres are doing those things. but they're not consistently winning.
No.
So the question is, why are these philosophies that normally lead to wins not leading to wins for the San Diego Padres?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really don't know why they're not leading to wins. I know that that the left-handed thing is now a thing. It's this year's runners in scoring position. It's this year's one-run
Giving up
ball
home
game.
runs has been a big problem. The pitchers give up too many home runs. Is that because Mike Shildt and Ruben Niebla want them to throw too many strikes? Because they want to, be in the zone and strike out guys and not walk guys, they're throwing too many fat pitches. Randy Vasquez threw the fattest of fat pitches yesterday.
92 down the middle, center cut to Alec Boehm. I mean, every pitch he threw was meat. Just didn't have one single inch of movement on any of his pitches last night. I mean, that was BP for those guys. In a team that good, you cannot make mistakes. That many mistakes, you got pounded.
People get so mad when Corey goes, how could they be first in batting average? Because they are. They have a higher batting average than every other team in Major League Baseball. And yet it doesn't necessarily translate. They're 10th in runs scored, so it's top half in baseball. They're not you can point, Mike Shildt can point to his offense and go, how can you say this is a bad offense? We're top 10 in runs scored. We're number 1 in batting average. The numbers back Mike Shildt up. What doesn't back it up is our feeling watching the games. And it doesn't feel like the Padres have a very good offense.
Yeah, I mean, Luis Arraez getting 2 to 3 hits a day. Profar having the start he does. It's the run differential thing. When you win 10-1, 10-1, and then lose, 4-3, your run differential is pretty good. But it's all you have to watch the games to know, and then look at your win-loss record.
Well, it's like when he says, we've won 7 out of 8 series, but when you only take 2 out of 3,
right,
and then you get in that 8th one that you aren't counting, you get swept. It's like, well, it kind of erases a lot of that. It puts you right back at 500.
Yeah, man, and again, look, here's the thing about Shildt is that we've known this, we've seen it. He's never deviated, never. And I honestly don't think he's going to deviate from that positive message ever. I think they could lose 15 games in a row, and he's going to go, yeah, but did you see what Johnny Brito did? Did you see that slider he threw? That was nasty. That's what he does. I don't have a problem with it. The problem I have a problem with the players not playing well. That's it. You could put any skipper in there you want. If the guys aren't playing, you're not going to win baseball games. Doesn't matter how good your manager is. The Cubs went out and spent $40 million on the best manager in Craig Counsell. They're terrible. You know why? Because their bullpen sucks. You know why? Because they can't hit. That's why. Not Craig Counsell's fault. Just like this isn't Mike Shildt's fault. This falls on, go down the line. Manny Machado, Jay Cronenworth, Fernando Tatis Jr., Jurickson Profar, even as good as he's been. Down the line. Luis Campisano, Michael King, Joe Musgrove, Darvish, they're the ones who play the game. They're the ones who should get the praise, and they're the ones that should get the blame. I'm so happy and ready to heap praise upon the players. But again, no one changed. Mike Shildt, a skipper, does not change the narrative, okay? He came in, a guy that wanted this gig really badly. He got the gig. And he's going to hold on to it like grim death. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit. He's going to be positive about his guys. He's never going to change. If you want him to get up there and rip his team publicly, he's not going to do them. I've asked him to do it. He won't do it. He will not do it. He says that he doesn't alibi, but he does. He alibis for his players. And I don't really have a problem with it because last night after that embarrassing 9-2 loss, you go to Twitter, and what are people tweeting about? They're tweeting about Mike Shildt. They're not tweeting about Randy Vasquez. They're not tweeting about, Manny or Tatis or anybody else. They're tweeting about Mike Shildt. He takes the heat for them and lets us all rip on him instead of the guys that are actually on the field.
Mike Shildt says the team will be where it needs to be in October. I think that statement, and we can play that audio when we come back, was pretty clear.
Yeah.
The question is, does Mike Shildt have the credibility to say that in the San Diego Padres organization? We'll be right back.
Why does it suck to be me? I didn't see that.
You just
comment.
sound a little more down in the dumps about the Padres.
I'm not.
Direction.
I'm not. I'm really
current
not.
status.
I'm not down in the dumps, man. I'm not. I'm bummed. You know, I'm so busy with the kids and stuff who actually like baseball and playing baseball. I came home last night. I missed first couple innings and listened to it on the radio, and then sat down and watched it. And I went, oh yeah, this is kind of what I thought was going to happen.
I think people would be surprised to learn.
I really wasn't that mad.
I'm not feeling very confident right now either. How could you be after the last 4 games on this road trip? Just not inspiring baseball.
It's ugly, man. Ugly baseball.
Not a sign. And that brings me to the manager, Mike Shildt. Can we all agree? We would love Mike Shildt to be 100% right about his team.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, of course we would.
Even I, though, have my serious doubts about whether his optimism, his confidence, and positivity is highly misplaced. But I want to be fair and at least give him a tiny bit of benefit of the doubt, and I'll explain. But let's play what continued. He said after the, remember, 9-2 loss, 8 straight road loss, winless on this road trip, has fallen 2 games under 500, out of the top 3 in the wild card. This is what he had to say just last night.
We're in a stretch now where we're not getting it done. But now, I don't want to say that there's no level of disappointment or frustration. That's 2 different buckets, right? Long-term concern, none, 0. I know we're going to end up right where we want to end up, and that is in October. Right now, yeah, we've got it, to your point, starting pitching. We haven't been able to get deep in games. Weren't able to hold them there today, and we weren't able to put together some consistent at-bats.
All right, so Mike Shildt says this is a little temporary blip based on some bad pitching performances. Obviously,
another temporary.
They're relying on Randy Vasquez and Adam Major, and a lot of teams when you dip into starting pitching depth will have a couple of bad outings. And he thinks that ultimately, though, this team will be where he expects it to be, and that is the postseason. That's what October means to any baseball person. I don't think you can spin it. I meant we'll have a regular season game on October 1st before we're then eliminated and go to the offseason. Mike Shildt just told us he expects, not hopes, he expects the Padres to be playing in October, right where they need to be. Why does he think that? Is he simply blowing smoke and he doesn't really believe it, or does he really believe that this team, deep in his core, put him on a lie detector, inject him full of truth serum? Does Mike Shildt really believe this team is going to be a playoff team in October?
I think he does.
I do too.
I think he does. I do too. I think he does believe it. I think you have to have that mentality if you're still hanging around, and as poorly as they played, they are in fact still hanging around.
Is it one of those things like Bud Black expects his team to be playing in October? Skip Schumacher expects his team to be playing in October?
They say that's our goal.
Right.
Right.
Or does he really
there's a goal, and hoping that if everything comes together, we'll get to October is very different than confidently expecting the team is going to be there. And I think Mike Shildt falls in the latter category. I think last year, Skip Schumacher, who had an unbelievable season, if you put him on the lie detector early in the year for the Marlins, he would have gone, I like some things about this team, but we're going to need to do a lot of things right. I don't expect us to be in the postseason. I would love us to be there. Bud Black, if you put him on a lie detector, he would say, we suck.
Yeah.
He would. He would. He won't say that publicly because he's a manager and he's trying to get the best out of his players, but he knows it.
I mean, I believe that he believes. I believe that
Mike Shildt believes
that
in
they're
going to
go to the playoffs.
Now, does he have the credibility to do that? Because he has managed 3 Cardinals teams for an entire season. One of them was a short year, and took them all to the playoffs. Presumably, he knows what a playoff team looks like, even early in the season. And I went back and checked. Is there any way that this team resembles any of those Cardinals teams? All of those Cardinals teams had losing records later in the year than this.
Yeah.
So none of them were like, okay, yeah, clearly this is a playoff team and we're going to get there. But they all got there in the end.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if it means anything or not. But
if history has proven anything about this team, Your answer is no. It does not.
I guess the question is this team the San Diego Padres because they wear Padres uniform, or is every team its own entity?
They are their own entity, but we didn't make the playoffs with a lineup that featured Juan Soto and Manny and Tatis and Drury and Josh Bell and so on.
That team made the
team
playoffs.
did. Yeah, sorry. Not Josh Bell and Drury. They were gone. Should have kept one of them. We had a really solid lineup last year, and I know that there were holes at the bottom. Those holes have been addressed, but I don't know, Benny. I don't know that you can say, well, it worked with the Cardinals. It's obviously going to work here. And again, trust me, I put almost none of this on Mike Shildt. Almost none of it. Really, I don't. And I know people want me to. I'm not going to. I'm going to put it on the baseball players themselves, the guys that swing the bat, the guys that execute.
I'm not going to. So quit asking
me, man. Quit asking me. And if they miraculously do make the playoffs, you know who I'm going to credit? I'm going to credit the players. Now, because I don't think his message is going to change from.
I don't think it would take a miracle to get this Padres team to the playoffs.
No, I mean, but you're also banking on the rest of the NL continuing to play like ass, and some of them are coming out of it, and some of them are nipping at your heels, and we continue to go the other way.
Some of them will improve.
Some of them will improve themselves, yeah. And so I put it on the players. I will always put it on the players. If we don't have a good year, it's not Adam Klug's fault. It's my fault. And it's your fault, and it's your fault.
Matt says in the chat, different manager, same results.
It's exactly right, man.
We've seen this team play like this with Andy Green. We've seen this team play like this with Jace Tingler.
Yep.
We've seen this team play like this with Bob Melvin, and now we're seeing this team play like this with Mike Shildt.
And again,
what's the constant? The players.
It's just mid. They're just middle of the road. They're a middle of the road baseball team, you know? And as much as I don't want that to be true, that's what it is.
It's not the hitting coach's fault.
Nope. And I've already seen Victor Rodriguez got to go. All right. Should get another one in. Who's that going to be? What's he going to do? Can't swing the bat for these guys. Can't execute the pitches.
Yeah,
for these guys.
Your point is valid. The 1 year they were better than middle of the road was 2022 when they went to the National League Championship Series. What was different that year? Manny Machado was the biggest difference that year.
Yeah,
he played like an MVP.
Yep.
He was number 2 in the MVP voting. He had a huge season. Last 2 years, he's not had huge seasons. That's the biggest difference between the Padres of then and the Padres of now.
I mean, again, and let me clarify, too. You can absolutely loathe those post-game speeches by Mike Shildt, because I do, and I rolled my eyes last night. You know me, I never watch the post-game because I don't want to get worked up before I try to go to sleep. And I decided, because it was still a little early, I was like, I'll give myself a little buffer time, and I watched it. And my eyes rolled back into my head when he talked about the virtual highlight reel on defense on a 9-2 loss. That's the stuff that makes me crazy. But again, I'm not going to. It's just like your kids, man. It's just like having children. You cannot constantly. You did this wrong. 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 You're terrible. You know, you have to show love. You have to give positives. As hard as it is for parents and as hard as it is for managers to do, you have to highlight some of the positives. He's never going to change. If they want to change the narrative, they have to play better. That's it.
Joe Mazzulla said something, I think, relevant to this conversation last night. One of the last things he said after the Celtics head coach, who just won the NBA title. And what he said last night as he wrapped up his championship season is this, and I thought it was very interesting. He said, it's just as dangerous to say, where was that quote? I wrote it down here. It's just as dangerous to say everything is okay, just as it is to say everything is terrible, or something to that effect.
That's fair. I mean, it's a very fair quote from a guy that just won a championship. And again, though, Ben, the public message could be different than the private message. I do not get the sense, and do you guys listening, I don't get the sense that he's like, hey, I just want to commend this guy for that out that he got, and Crony for that play that he made. And then do you get the sense that he goes back into the clubhouse and is like, you listen to me, you tired SOBs, get your ass together. I don't think that that's what's happening, but I do feel like a conversation was had with Manny Machado about effort. I do. I feel like it based on his press conference last night. Dennis Lynn asked him the question. He's like, look, I'm not going to alibi a lack of effort. Manny hustled tonight, and and he talked about the barometer that they used and all that. So I do feel like conversation was had. But I don't think it's fire and brimstone. I don't. I really, really don't. I think he is wanting to be positive. We talked to Jurickson Profar at spring training. We asked Jurickson, hey, Jurickson, why'd you block us on Twitter? He said, negativity. I don't like negativity. We don't want negativity. They have to have that mindset. They have to. You cannot come in, cleats dragging, ass dragging on the ground if you're a big league baseball player with 90 games to go. You cannot be a defeatist. So they're not going to panic. They're not going to get upset. That's our job. That's our job. And Mike Shildt, the skipper, you can't have your leader panicking either. And please don't take this as me alibying for Mike Shildt. I know exactly what he's doing. Because why? What are we talking about? We're talking about Mike Shildt. We're not talking about the poor execution of Randy Vasquez last night and, the poor execution of the offense.
That's kind of mind-blowing, actually. Like, we mentioned it briefly, maybe 10 seconds on Randy Vasquez.
10 seconds.
Just
what
laying
have we
a
talked an
meatball
hour
to Alec
about?
Baum. We've talked about 45 minutes
Mike
now
Shildt.
on Mike Shildt.
Yeah. And Margie says, look at the Mets on a winning streak after the big blow up 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 100%, man. Like, is that because of Carlos Mendoza? No. Is it because of Grimace? No. It's because Francisco Lindor and Pete Alonso decided to start hitting, and their bullpen started holding leads, and Edwin Diaz, has started to get saves and be effective again. That's why. It's not Carlos Mendoza's doing. But a manager can hold a team together. You know how a manager holds a team together? Positivity. That's how he does it.
Well, you look at every team that's kind of hovering around, and let's bump Take on Woods because I want to keep this conversation going for a second. You look at every team that the Padres are essentially hanging around with right now. Cardinals, Giants, Nationals, Diamondbacks, Pirates, Mets, Reds, and Cubs. They've all been terrible at one point or another. Right now, the Cardinals have the best record of that bunch. They just moved above 500 yesterday at 36-35. They were 9 games under 500 about a month ago, and people were ready to fire Ollie Marmol and break it all down and throw it away.
They had his replacement all picked out already, and it's Skip Schumacher.
They
said he's done. He's out.
It was done. The Nationals got off to a terrible start. Pirates got off to a bad start. Diamondbacks, they've just kind of been mediocre all year long.
I think you said meat. Diamondbacks have been meat.
The Mets were awful. People were ready to absolutely blow up the Mets, and now they're surging and playing better right now. Reds were bad, then good again. They've been hot lately. The Cubs were the top of the heap. Now they're the bottom of that heap right now, and you just mentioned the Cubs as being a team that's been terrible. All of these teams are in the same boat. But I think ultimately, while Mike Shildt says, I believe the Padres will be where we need to be in October, I'm pretty sure that Bob Melvin thinks that about his Giants. Torey Lovullo thinks that about his Diamondbacks. Craig Counsell thinks that about his Cubs. One or two of these managers, at least, are going to be wrong at the end of the year about where their team should be and is going to be in October. You want to be one of the managers that's right, not one of the managers that is wrong to have confidence in your team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and again, there's been a lot of situations where you look to Mike Shildt and say, why would you put him in there and the job gets done? Well, is that Mike Shilt's doing? Oh, I'm a genius. No, it's that Yuki Matsui got an out. There's also been times where he's gone to a guy in the bullpen and the guy's blown up. That's not uncommon. That happens in every single baseball game across the country every single day. Good bullpens make managers look like geniuses. Rob Thompson looks like a genius. Is he? Probably not. Probably not a genius. Knows baseball, certainly. But is he any better manager than Mike Shildt is? I don't know. I have no idea. And neither do you.
I finally found that quote because I put it in Do This, which we can pick something else. But Joe Mazzulla said, if someone tells you good job, that's just as dangerous as someone telling you you suck.
I disagree.
That's what the NBA winning head coach said yesterday.
I mean, he obviously
title.
knows more than me, but I always I think about my kids, right? And I do think about that. Like, to me, telling my kid he sucks is awful. Me telling my kid, hey, good job, good effort, does not hurt.
But I think the point is that if that's all you ever say,
yeah,
good job, good job, good job. Hey, yeah, you'll be better next time.
Well,
if you're never
publicly and privately is different. Agreed?
I think that Joe is talking about privately.
Privately.
I think he's talking about privately. And maybe Mike Shildt is different privately than he is publicly.
Yeah, I do get the sense that he's probably the same guy, pats on the back. He always talks about loving his guys. Hey, man, I'm We're gonna give him some love. He's struggling right now. I have no problem with it. I have none, zero, none. It's the right way to do it, in my opinion. You know, the days of flipping tables and smoking cigarettes and dugout are gone. As much as you may lament those days, and I like a lot of those guys too, but he does it a different way. It's on the players. It's always going to be on the players. Always. Never not going to be. Never. Unless Mike Shildt goes, hey, check this out. Tatis, you're catching, and Manny, we want you in center. Then it's on the manager. But even then, it's still on the players. Go find a way to win a game, but it's always going to be on the players to execute. That's it.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back with Don't Do This. We totally missed one of the best topics yesterday because it was, a busy weekend. But the decision to take a guy with a no-hitter out of the game after 7 innings this weekend. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of... I usually back up the manager on these. This one, I'm not so sure about. We'll give you the details when we come back. It's Ben and Woods. Don't go away. Back after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Don't Do This is brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sereno Valley. The Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. Thecrafttaco.com.
I'll get us started today. Very sad story, Benny. 18-year-old Jackson James Rice passed away just weeks before he was going to make his Olympic debut, Benny. He's an up-and-coming kite foil racing star. Passed away this weekend. He was doing a free dive in Tonga, and he suffered a shallow water blackout. JJ's father said other divers found his body on the seafloor under the boat. They tried to resuscitate him, but he passed away. Again, was about to make his debut in Paris. Very, very, very sad story. Just 18 years old. Broke my heart.
Just quickly, speaking of Paris, they did name the Olympic golf team this morning. It was just
done?
announced. It is done. The USA Golf has named the 4 participants for the U.S. Olympic team. It will be Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, and Wyndham Clark to represent Team USA in Paris on the golf course. Of course, Xander Schauffele is the defending gold medal winner from 4 years ago in Japan, so he'll be back to defend his gold medal title. Of course, not pictured, Bryson DeChambeau, the current U.S. Open champion, who was not really on the points list because he's been competing on LIV and not only not amassing world rankings points, but also points toward the Olympics. Is that an oversight? You can make that argument, but he hasn't been around to kind of put it together. So, would you like to have him on the team the way he played last week? Kind of, yeah.
The answer is yes.
Absolutely,
Give me
yes.
the roster
Playing better
again?
than Wyndham Clark. Scheffler,
Good.
Schauffele,
Good.
Morikawa,
Good.
and Wyndham Clark,
Come on.
who won last year's U.S. Open, but hasn't been doing a ton this year. I think I'd rather have Bryson representing the team rather than Wyndham Clark at this point.
I mean, he's a showman, like he'll be able to whip the crowd up and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Wyndham Clark. It's a very, very safe pick.
Very safe pick.
Yeah, very safe pick.
All right, I wanted to bring this up, and we didn't get to it yesterday. It actually happened on Saturday, and you can debate this one, but Reindl Blanco, who has been the only pitcher to throw a no-hitter this season in Major League Baseball, had a chance at a second one. And there's only been 6 pitchers in baseball history who've thrown more than one no-hitter in a single season, but his manager, Joe Espada, took him out in the 7th inning of their game against the Toronto Blue Jays with the no-hitter and brought in Ryan Presley, who then gave up a hit in the 8th inning to Wenceel Perez, and that was it. Or, I'm sorry, it was against the Detroit Tigers, not the Blue Jays. Now, there are some extenuating circumstances. He was at 94 pitches, which is not crazy. I mean, you could get through 2 more innings without getting up to a ridiculous number of pitches. And you'd think, don't you want to give a guy an opportunity to throw a second no-hitter?
How many pitches?
94.
In the 7th?
Through 7 innings. I mean, you can get through. You can have an 8-pitch inning, and then you're at 102, and you have a chance in the ninth.
I think you got to give him the shot.
Now, he was, I believe had that sticky stuff suspension that he had served and had just come back from recently, so that may have been a factor in terms of how stretched out they thought he was and didn't want to push things at this point in the season. But he's already done it once. He showed he can do it and bounce back from it and is doing it again. And he was taken out of the game after 7 innings. I just thought that's a decision you certainly wouldn't have seen 10 years ago in Major League Baseball, 15 years ago. But now it almost feels commonplace.
God, no. I mean, it's hard to fault a manager for protecting a guy that they're going to be counting on if they're going to make a run. Of course. And chasing records is not really a manager's job unless it's a win or a loss. You got to make the decisions, the hard decisions that can help get you wins at the end of the day, not personal achievements, in my opinion. As much as it sucks for him, and but I don't know. I kind of agree with that move, to be honest.
Taking him out.
Yeah.
All right.
I kind of do.
I mean, like I said, it's a debatable choice.
I mean, if are they going nowhere? We don't know. It's the Astros. You feel like they
bad
have a run.
start, but yeah,
they feel like they have a run in them too. And they've had so many guys injured this year too, starting pitching wise. Like I kind of get 94
count
pitches
them out until they're out.
I kind of get 94 pitches. Like, bro, we've already lost a couple of big arms this year.
I
kind of get it.
By the way, they released Jose Abreu.
They did.
Remember, that was someone A.J. Preller was looking at last offseason before he signed with the Astros. There's where the rare bullet dodged on what could have been a very bad contract for the Padres.
Bro, you're talking about one of the premier hitters in baseball that cannot hit anymore.
Yeah.
That's how cruel and unusual this game is. Baseball can also be very, very beautiful as well.
DD mega doo-doo.
Paulie's got some do this, and I don't know what it is.
Well, it was a very do this moment. Last night, got a message on, we use some app for communication on the Tier 1 baseball team.
Yeah, Team Snap it's called.
Team Snap.
Team Snap.
Yeah, it's a good way to communicate.
Post the games
Yeah, the
each week.
schedule, you in, you out, all of that.
Yeah, it's got a messaging feature, and we got a really, really awesome message from one of the guys yesterday. I was wondering, though, because I don't think this is possible. Can Woods read the message, or at least the sentiment of the message, without crying? I don't know that he can.
When I choked up last night when I read it, so I think I got it out of my system.
Okay.
But we got a message in the team chat last night, and I love this, man. I'm gonna leave his name out of it because he didn't.
Oh.
What?
Somebody already put it in the chat.
Oh,
So.
all right. Well, there you go. Well, fellas, this was the message I was dreading. On Thursday a.m., I leave for an 11-day work trip to Eugene, Oregon. I'm sorry I'll miss our games on Sunday. It's our playoffs. Oh, the music. Paulie, damn you. It legit pains me. In the immortal words of Paul Reindl and Bo Woods, don't suck. My 13-year marriage ended in late 2023.
His voice is cracking
It is.
already.
The literal morning after I got the final papers in the mail, I heard Woodsy talk on the show about tryouts for a Tier 1 baseball team. I rearranged my entire holiday schedule to be there. My mom is still making passive-aggressive comments about it. Remember how effing muddy it was? It was just the best. I had no business being on this team, but I was willing to pay the fee, and I think I told Woodsy I could be at every game. What I got in return was one of the two things I could reliably look forward to every week. Friday batting practice first. Without batting practice and those games this spring, I don't know what I would have done. I'm sure it was apparent I haven't played baseball in 30 years. I worked hard in the cage and at Friday BP, and I saw improvement, even if I could never show it to you. I wanted so bad to show up for you guys, but you always encouraged me. I'll never forget it. Anyway, go Tier 1s, go Padres. I hope I'll see you at Petco this summer. After July 4th, I'll be there pretty much all Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday games through the end of the season. And, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like we had 50 guys show up, and there was some reason that I put Sam on the team. I'm not going to say that I knew any of that. I didn't know any of that story. And we did it. And, yeah, man, he scuffled this year, but he was always there, always gave 100% effort, and clearly needed us, more than we needed his production. And it's been such a pleasure to get to know him. And that is...
I hate that he won't be there this weekend when we're going out there for a championship.
Going for the championship, man. It just got me, dude. It got me good. So life can get really tough, and I'm so glad that we had that. I'm so glad that we put that together and did that. And the team has just been awesome to be a part of.
But you got off to a bit of a slow start.
Yeah, we were 4-4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you figured it out and started playing better.
Yeah. Our stars really started to hit.
They did.
Yeah.
They locked in. But not until halfway through the season, essentially.
Yeah, 8 games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens. I take 0.
What did you do?
0. Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a damn thing. Kept putting the guys out there.
That's all you did.
Kept believing in them. I did get mad at bad base running. I actually did get mad at bad base running and started fining players. So maybe that's something we can do. But that's really, really good, man. I love that kid, and hopefully we win one for him this weekend.
How fantastic is that?
Yeah, it was great. How fantastic is that? He's a good dude, man. So
it was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It broke my heart.
Winning
but also,
baseball games and changing lives.
Yeah, that's what
Steve
we try
Woods
to do.
over here.
No, not me.
Well, you had to put him on the team at least.
Yeah, just one of those weird coincidences. And he ended up on the squad and fights his ass off every single week. So hopefully we can win one for him this weekend. But yeah, it was awesome to get that message last night. We love you.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And that's Don't and Do This for Tuesday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Speaking of Woods, last night you tweeted out a request for your most toxic Padres takes.
Yeah. My Ambien had kicked in. Sorry. I woke up to it this morning and I was like, "Oh, all right."
I think it's a bit
cathartic.
Well, I think it also is up to interpretation what a toxic take really is.
Oh,
but we all have them. Even I have probably a toxic take somewhere in me.
What you do?
I probably do.
Where's that been? For
I would
the
like
last
to
6
hear
years?
it. I would love to hear it.
Fine. Let's hear some other
What is
toxic takes as well.
We're going to spin the toxic wheel instead of the topic wheel. We'll do that next.
You want to join us? 833-288-0973.
Yeah.
It's Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Toxic Wheel. What's your definition of a toxic take?
You know it when you see it.
You just know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, you were in a mood. Well, we were all kind of in a mood last night after the Padres lost to the Phillies 9-2, and you solicited your toxic Padres takes. So instead of spinning the topic wheel, when we come back from traffic, Paulie's going to spin the toxic wheel, and we're going to share some of the responses you got to that question last night. That's the topic wheel.
That's the topic wheel.
Wait until you hear the toxic wheel right after traffic here.
That's right.
On 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company. Visit them at airmax.com. Well, looks like things are clearing up pretty nicely around the county. Our Crudell traffic cam does show this crash, though, on northbound 15 before Felicita. Still in the clearing stage. It's got that right lane blocked, pickup truck, and semi involved. That's northbound 15, just before Felicita. Looking for the best in HVAC? Choose Air Max, San Diego's highest-rated heating and air company with free diagnostics on all repairs and estimates. See why over 1,300 happy customers have given Air Max 5-star Yelp reviews. See Air Max today at airmax.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Definitely sounds a bit toxic. That's for sure.
Holy smokes. Well, as you can imagine, Benny, Manny Machado took a great deal of heat in the toxic wheel takes last night. Manny Machado is the reason why the clubhouse has been toxic 3 out of the last 4 years. Outside of 2022 has been largely disappointing as a Padre. That was one. You've got much of the clubhouse resentment is self-inflicted by the doling out of contracts, which I thought was an interesting one. Here's an interesting take as well. And we can address these, jump right in. Sellouts aren't fun. Concourses are hard to get through.
Wow.
Driving in the gas lamp sucks. I read that one and I went, oh, my Lord, okay.
Pining for the better days of 12,000 people in Mission Valley.
That's exactly right.
That's a Tuesday night game. Very easy to get in and out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dang fans around, just ruining your experience.
Every great player comes here and forgets how to play. They become mid when they see the beach. We are never going to win.
Those are good.
A championship. A secret deal was made to move the Padres to Oakland, and the players have been asked to be mediocre because that's what works best in the Coliseum. I mean, we really turned it over.
I think some people really believe some of their toxic takes, though.
Oh yeah, I either like I think the bits that I used to go, oh, that's a bit. Clearly, I think you start to believe the bit after a while. You say it enough, you tweet it enough. You start to really, really believe it, after that. Here's a toxic take. The KUSI guys were great. They were great.
That's just a lie.
Sean says, Machado and Tatis don't hate losing enough. They don't care. This team is sharp and soft.
That's an interesting one. Hang on. Stop for a second.
Okay.
They don't hate losing enough. I will certainly say that Manny shrugs it off pretty well.
Yep.
A loss is not fun, but hey, what did he say yesterday? It's this is a bit of a tough stretch for the San Diego Padres. He acknowledged tough stretch.
Now don't.
But he does
shrug
him off.
Don't
pretty
you
well.
have to as a professional?
I think
athlete?
you do.
And this isn't Manny Machado defense. This is every MLB player defense. Every person that we've talked to, former player, says you have to just flush it. You have to brush it off. You never get through a season if you don't do that.
That Manny Machado is massively overrated by this fan base, that we should have signed Bryce Harper instead. The Californians are the softest fans in professional sports. Absolutely no accountability is held, and all this team does is get coddled by them. Current ownership doesn't care about winning, just good vibes, appealing to the lowest common denominator fan.
This one in our chat that Manny Machado is fat. That's pretty toxic.
That was the That was the point. Wanted to see the level of toxicity it's gotten to. And I'd say after, what is it, 5 in a row now? 4?
Four
in a
losses.
row.
But 8 in a row on the road.
8 in a row on the road. Playoffs or not, I think it's time for some change, a new voice, new ideas. The roster is aging. It shows with the injuries. A.J. Preller catches some shrapnel in here. A.J. should have been fired after 21 due to his second disaster managerial hire.
Whoa.
What in the world? Was Paula Abdul over there? What was that?
Advertisement? I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, Manny catches the lion's share in here. Fire Norv is also in there. I won't do anything.
Everyone agreed with that take for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, it got. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments, and sometimes I love the toxic wheel sound. San Diego. This is one from one of my tier 1 pitchers, Jameson. San Diego is too chill to be a championship sports town. I see that take quite a bit, and you hear all the little nicknames for San Diego, and I mean, I submit to you that it's the quality of the players, it's the chemistry of the team, the culture that you have. And you don't need to be some blue-collar, ice-cold, snowy Philadelphia team. Kansas City Royals have won championships. They're pretty low-key. The Texas Rangers last year, they literally don't even like baseball in Texas. I grew up there. I'm speaking facts. Even when they're good, they're the third fiddle. Honestly, no one gives a frog's fat ass about the Texas Rangers until August, September, if that. They
you mean care. Dallas Cowboys season?
That's right. And even then, it's like, I guess I'll watch the last.
Yeah, there's enough
Rangers
passion
game.
In San Diego,
bro, 100%.
To win a World Series.
I've been here 14 years. I don't know that I've met more passionate, desperate fans in my life. Ever. It's part of what attracted me to it. Honestly, and then watching the ups and downs. Over the last few years, the moves that worked, the moves that didn't work. I do think, I've said this on the roundtable. I said it, I think, yesterday. I mean, we're just in a position here with this team that we're painted into a corner. And A.J. Preller, he's painted in a corner. You are committed long-term to a couple guys. This team is unfire saleable. You cannot.
It's not fire saleable, but it kind of brings me to what my potentially toxic take would be.
All right.
And that is, and I know you are committed to some of these long-term players. We discussed that earlier this week. There's really no getting out of some of those contracts. They're going to have to play better. But there are players on your team that you could trade, and it would require a very unpleasant feeling that you're giving up on this season. But right now, it is a massive seller's market. There are 11 teams that are fighting for a playoff spot in the National League that all probably think if we just add the right pitcher or right player or two, we could make a difference. But there's also 4 other teams that are going to be bidding against those teams for the same players. If you wanted to turn heel and become a seller sooner rather than later, there is a haul to be had right now. You could be sitting and just fending off offers of top prospects, young pitchers, things that will be thrown at you for premium potential players. Guys like a Dylan Cease or a Ha-Sung Kim. The Dodgers need a shortstop badly. No one really wants to see them go, but you don't think the Dodgers, if A.J. Preller called and said, what would you give for Ha-Sung Kim? Wouldn't put together an offer right now?
So that's your toxic take, is that should be on the table.
It should be on the table. They're absolutely not a fire sale, but any player who's going to be a free agent this season or next season could get a huge haul right now and could, maybe hasten a different look Padres team. It would still be centered around probably Tatis and Manny and Xander going forward, but you could You could reconstruct a lot of the pieces around those guys, add depth, add more pitching, add more young players that could be coming up as potential pieces in 25 and 26. If you wanted to go that route, this is the absolute best time to do it because there are so many teams that are in it and so few teams that are going to be selling. The price tags are going to be really high. I still think the Padres will be one of those teams trying to overpay the high price tags to add players.
Purple says, let's do it. You say that now. I mean, and again, it's hard because there are two sides, right? The side of, well, we want our team to be fruitful and make money so that we can get better players. If you're getting rid of the players that a lot of people want to go see, who's going to go to the ballpark? Who's going to go watch
chicken and the egg.
Yeah, it's the chicken and the egg. And who wants to go watch, like, oh, well, hey, we got the next Adam Major up. That they've done that here as well. There's been those times here, Ben. So look, you're not wrong in the fact that everything should be on the table right now. We all kind of think we know how it's going to go, and I don't think it's going to go that way.
I don't either. But the other
let's say, what if they rip off? What if they literally lose the next 9 games? Or do you consider it then?
Of course you do.
I think you do.
Of course you do. But by the way, we also don't still know really what's wrong with this team.
Correct.
So why would anything be off the table at this point?
Correct.
Heck, you could trade some of those guys and all of a sudden
be better.
Run on a winning streak for no reason at all.
Yeah, our best season since we've started covering the team. They went to the NLCS without Fernando Tatis Jr. Make it make sense. I mean, he's the guy you want on your roster? No. So, I mean, I do think that everything should be on the table, but yeah, I mean, listen, that's why
KG trade Profar. He's only signed through this year. He's going to be an all-star. He's having a phenomenal season.
What do you get for him?
What can you get for him?
I mean, that's why these are toxic takes.
Michael King, you think he's going to be built around, but you don't have him signed beyond next year. And a team that knows that, hey, we can add him for this year's run. He's throwing really well right now, and we get him next year. They would give up a fortune for a guy like that right now.
That's why
it's ugly. It's toxic. It's painful to even think about. But if you don't start playing better right away, that is a serious conversation that has to be had. You can't trade Manny. You can't trade Xander. They're not going anywhere. Don't think Tatis is going anywhere. But there are tradable players on this team, valuable players. The actual guys who are playing well are very, very tradable at the moment.
I mean, it's why the next, it's why the next 15, 16, 17, 18 games are just massive. They're just massive. They are. They are incredibly, incredibly important. And let's call it 18 games. How many games again before the All-Star break?
23.
23. You go 12 and 11, you're right back to where you started.
You're still in it.
You're still in it. And what does that say to the guys in the clubhouse if you're still in it and you're giving up Dylan Cease?
The real toxic take, which I'm not going to subscribe to, is you're cheering against the Padres now.
Right.
So they don't make more mistakes going forward.
Which I can't do.
No, I
That's
can't
not
either.
in me.
I can't.
And there's plenty that are.
Oh, wow. All right. We will come back, take on next.
All right, we are halfway home on a Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? It is Tuesday. Here on Ben and Woods this morning. And yeah, just when I think like you watch a game like last night's game, 9-3, and you go, no one's going to care. No one's going to be in the chat. You guys are insane. And I love it. And that's what, ownership and the players need to realize is that people in this town they just want to love you, man. They really do. They really want to love you with everything that they have. And, being a 500 team and now a couple games below 500 just doesn't cut it. It just doesn't cut it. Hard to love somebody that's 1 foot in, 1 foot out, right? It really is hard to do. And it's right there in front of you. Win games. They're going to sell out the stadium. You're going to get all the love and adulation that you've ever wanted. And you're going to get the full package. What did they call it, Jerry Maguire? The Quan. He wanted the whole thing, the Quan. The money, the love, the respect. You get all of it. Just win. It's right there.
It's all there.
That's it. Easy. Easy to do,
Not
right?
that easy.
Just win.
Not that easy.
Just win.
Apparently not that easy.
I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, joins us as well. We had a show outing yesterday, and we're doing the Ben and Woods Open tomorrow. And we have a very dedicated Padre fan, Tier 1, who runs a Lululemon store. Now, I'm a big proponent of everything that is sports, like leisure wear, active wear, but I'm not very active. Athleisure, huge fan. Gotten into it the last few years. My wife forced me, and then I'm hooked. You got me. And she said, I'd love you guys to come down. So they're going to be doing a giveaway at the Ben & Woods Open. So you guys have a chance to win like a fitting and some cool Lululemon stuff. And they've got a golf line. She said, want you guys to come down, check out the stuff, and try on some of our new things. Now, listen, we'll be honest with you. We're not the guys that they look at and say, yes, we want you to model our stuff.
Speak for yourself. Demographic.
It's not the target demographic, maybe. But we got to have a little pretty woman moment after the show yesterday. And we went there. And I went first. You guys had some production to do. So I went down, and she started loading me up with stuff to go try on. And you go in, and you got that full-length mirror, and you start disrobing, and you're like, oh, God. The lights are all bright, and you're all pale, hairy, and...
You're not supposed to look at that.
I know, you're really not.
What is this,
Slim
on.
Fit?
Oh. Try these on. Are you a large?
There's a size 32 waist.
I'd probably go a little bit, maybe try the X, maybe the large and the XL, and I'll just try them both. And you immediately just discard the large and put the XL and go, these fit great. Yeah, let me go out and model them. She gave me a shirt.
Somebody says, I thought they only sold yoga pants.
No. Bro, they have all kinds of good stuff. I mean,
Mike says Lulu is for women. No,
bro, it's mostly like it's half and half in there.
It's 50-50 in there.
And I'll tell you what, Mike. Go get you some, dude. They have really good stuff.
Right now.
They have really, really, really good stuff.
It's comfy.
So go in, and she gives me like this. Hannah wants me to start. She's like, you need a new look. She tells me this.
A new look.
I go, oh, God. She says, I'd really like to see you in more. She goes, not collared shirts like what you're wearing, button-down, short-sleeve collared shirts. And I go, I don't really want to. She goes, no, I think you need to. And I said, like you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Short sleeve, collared, button down, like Tommy Bahamas.
Pocket protector. Right there in the pocket.
And I said, I don't think it's my scene, babe. I'm a t-shirt, joggers guy every day. She said, I don't want you to try it. So this Melissa hands me one, and it's an XL. And she goes, now everything does run a little, snug. And I put this thing on. Yes.
Fitting a sausage in the casing.
The biscuit tin was back.
Do you ever put on one of those
biscuit tin
button downs and then it like bulges between the buttons and you can kind of see in because it's so tight?
Yeah,
it's
you
not,
can see
it's
your
not
skin.
A good feeling. Yeah, you can see the skin as you look down because the buttons are bulging together. It's a bad feeling.
Now,
That's when you call SDFatLoss.com.
Right, but the thing is, if you go for the big blousy one, you look ridiculous too. You look like James Gandolfini in The Sopranos. Like
I'm guilty of that sometimes, for sure.
The big blousy shirts, there's got to be a right fit. So I tried that one on. She said, I said, no, this is a little tight. You have a double X? No, we don't. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to pass on the button-down shirt. So I tried to get that, but then you guys came in, and you guys started modeling your clothes. Now, she asked me if I wanted shorts, and I said, no. I said, nobody ever needs to see a grown man's legs, ever, and especially not mine. So I'm good. No shorts whatsoever. And
again, my best feature. So I do wear the shorts because I don't mind getting those calves out to the world.
Mike says he doesn't need Lululemon because he's not a North County yuppie. Buddy, don't knock it until you try it. You will buy them, you will put them on, and you will go, oh boy, those idiots were right. They were right again. They got me.
You know who got me turned on to Lululemon? It wasn't anybody in this room. It was Mark Grant.
Yeah, Mud Grant.
I don't think Mark Grant's a North County
Alpine,
yuppie.
Baby. Alpine.
This is Alpine as it gets.
I am not.
I'm telling you.
I could care less about fashion. Shocker, I know. But, the haute couture, the highest fashion, often looks very uncomfortable. The reason these things are so great is not because you're, walking down a runway in Paris.
Right.
It's because it's really, really comfortable
Feel
and well
good.
made.
Yes.
That's where you're willing to go the extra mile when it comes to good clothes. Something that you're going to feel good in. And they do it very well.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah, that was pretty. It was pretty fun.
Somebody
actually.
said earlier, Lulu's effing expensive though. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
And that's why we are very happy that they have jumped on board with the Ben & Woods Open. One of the raffle prizes is you're gonna get like a personal shopping experience.
You get the Pretty Woman experience.
If you win the raffle, they're gonna have one of their educators, I think they're called, one-on-one, get you fitted in a top and a bottom. Pretty Woman style.
Or man.
Get you both.
Now there was I had a moment yesterday, and she said, "What do you think, Woodsy, about this that a lot of men are wearing now?" And I went, could be convinced.
What was it?
And I wanted your takes on it. It's the Lululemon belt bag.
Oh, the belt bag.
So I carry.
Well, I have a Padres belt bag that I don't use already.
Well, I gave mine to my wife.
Yeah.
So
Likewise.
I carry around the Costanza wallet, and it's it is what it is. It's fine.
We were in Vegas, and I couldn't fit my room key in my wallet because I had so much crap in there.
Yes.
And so we're sitting in our hotel room, and I started pulling out gift cards.
Dave & Buster's cards.
Yeah. I'm like, how long has this been in there? My wallet shrunk in half.
It feels good. It feels like you dropped 10
It
pounds.
took 5 minutes.
Zach just says, I just got into belt bags, fanny packs. I love it. Now, listen, I'm married. I've got a beautiful wife, beautiful kids. What do I care if I look like a nerd walking around with a belt bag on? I'm thinking about rocking the belt bag.
I've been seeing a lot of men wearing them. I go, that seems like it's inevitable, right? No, it's on its way. It's coming.
The new look, though, is you wear them across. Like a seat belt as opposed to
around
like
your
a belt
waist.
around the waist. I've seen a lot of that. That's kind of the new in way to wear the belt bag.
Adam says can't do it. Well, that's because you have a 20-inch waist and it would fall around your knees. Okay?
It'd be a
You're
sash.
built like my 6-year-old. Of course, my 6-year-old also can't wear a belt bag either. But thank you for giving us that moment yesterday where we got to try. I will say this: I often give him compliments. Ben, you rocked the S out of it.
Thank you.
You rocked.
I was impressed by
shorts.
the golf line. I didn't even realize they kind of had a new golf line, and that was cool. Thank you for the shorts compliment.
You look great.
It honestly, it warmed my heart yesterday seeing Ben having like 3 or 4 employees helping him out.
Yeah.
Bringing clothes to him,
Fawning
the
all over
full
him.
Pretty Woman experience. Because I don't think he would ever
No, he was like
do
Tom,
that for himself.
But he was like Tom Selleck in there. Man.
Oh,
he
yeah.
was. He was feeling himself. It was
Had
good to see.
Big ass watch on,
And those big ass calves of his that everyone was talking about. It was great. I was proud of you. You look good.
Thank you.
You
I'm a little
looked a good
self-conscious, but I appreciate
Don't be.
that.
You should.
I am.
Me and Paulie were self-conscious for good reason. We walked out of there with our shirts. It's like, this is cool. This is great. Maybe I'll wear it under a jacket and no one can see the muffin top, coming out. But It was really fun. I liked hanging out with you guys. And we tried that new Mongolian barbecue place at Fashion Valley.
What did you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
Freddie is the manager, big tier one.
Tier
we walked
one.
in, he was going, I know you guys from somewhere.
Yeah.
He goes, oh, yeah.
It was pretty good,
Listen to you
man.
guys in the morning. You guys are hilarious.
I probably had the wrong mix, but I needed a little more spice. But it was pretty good, man.
Mongo Q. In the food court there at Fashion Valley.
For a food court Mongolian barbecue, it's pretty damn good. I was full the rest of the day.
By the way, we need a contestant for Take on Woods. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. As you're calling in, I'll just wrap up the story on Mongolian barbecue. So last week we went out to lunch while we were doing some tournament planning, and Woods treated us to Jersey Mike sandwiches. We're going to have Jersey Mike's at the golf tournament tomorrow. So I said, I got this one. So I paid for our lunch yesterday. Happy to do so.
Finally.
But then Woods wants to tip the Mongolian barbecue chef. He's got a big jar there that's not filled with anything. And he goes to the cashier, do you have a change for a 20? And he goes, no, I don't have any change for a 20. We don't really deal much in cash anymore. It's 2024. And Woods doesn't know what to do. And I go, I've got a 10. So I hand it to him, and he
Does not want to
puts
do
it
that.
right into the jar as well. So he takes my 10 after I paid for lunch and uses it to tip the guy who looked very appreciative of Woods for leaving the nice big tip in the jar, which came straight out of my wallet. I would have generously tipped $2.
Oh,
happily.
100%.
But, of course, Woods goes with the 10 out of my wallet
That guy
yesterday for the tip.
Hey, man, that guy, he was solo in there. He had those two sticks.
He was, yeah. He was working hard.
Bro, that
grinding.
smoke,
He was
all I
working
kept
hard.
seeing was that smoke just going up into his face. So, I had a great time with you fellas. And, sorry. I'll give you your $10 back. That guy earned it, man. He earned it.
You are a good tipper, I will say that. Woods is, if you are in the service industry, be excited when Woods is coming. Be less excited when Ben is coming. Just unless Woods is with him and is reaching into Ben's wallet
Jason,
to tip other people.
You guys just had a Seinfeld episode at lunch. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
All right, let's play some. By the way, 2-game losing streak right now. It's time for you to step up here, or changes will need to be made.
Get back to 500.
Let's play
this
a little
week.
Take on Woods. Wow, I see a lot of names here. Let's go with line 4. Who's this?
Hey, it's Brian.
Brian, are you calling for Take on Woods?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're our contestant. Take on Woods brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. Great prize this month. If you can beat or tie Woods, and it's been done the last 2 days, you can qualify for our grand prize 2-night stay at Fontainebleau, Las Vegas. Tickets to either Hootie and the Blowfish or Smashing Pumpkins, your choice, and a $150 poolside dining credit. Summer room packages and tickets are available now at FontainebleauLasVegas.com. I'll even give you the choice of categories. Here's your advantage. It's Not False, and that is, you'll figure that one out as you go. Not for Nothing. Those are song titles including the word nothing. And Rick's Cafe. Those are musical artists named Rick. So It's Not False, Not for Nothing, or Rick's Cafe. Brian, what would you like?
Let's do Not for Nothing.
Not for Nothing. All right, this one is actually another submission from Tier 1 Janice, who had a category for me a couple of weeks ago, and she came up with some of these. So good luck on Not for Nothing. 5 song titles that all include the word nothing. We will play 60 seconds. If you don't know one, say pass. We'll come back to it. First question's the 2-second song. You need to identify the small clip of music by title and artist to score the point. Brian, are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, 60 seconds on the clock. The category Not for Nothing. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck, Brian. Let's take on Woods.
That was points and nothing but a good time.
Correct. Sting makes a guest appearance singing the iconic I Want My MTV Open, to which 1985 Dire Straits hit.
Money for nothing.
Correct. Starship sings Baby We Can Make It If We're Heart to Heart, in which classic 1986 power ballad that was also the theme for the movie Mannequin.
Pass.
Which signature 1974 hit for Bachman Turner Overdrive features a famous stutter on the word baby?
Pass.
Metallica shows off a softer side in which 1992 single that originally was never intended to be released.
Nothing else matters.
Correct. Starship sings Baby We Can Make It If We're Heart to Heart, in which classic 1986 power ballad that was also the theme for the movie Mannequin.
Man, still me. Pass.
Which signature 1974 hit for Bachman-Turner Overdrive feature? Oh, and we ran out of time there. Baby, you ain't seen nothing yet, and then Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now by Starship. You did get the other three, though. Nothing But a Good Time by Poison, Money for Nothing, and Nothing Else Matters. So 3 is your score. Brian, you stay on the line. Hang on there. We'll see if the losing streak continues here for Woods, who doesn't get the category. Doesn't even get a target score, so we'll see how he does. 60 seconds back on the clock. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Brian.
Nothing But a Good Time, Poison.
Correct. Sting makes a guest appearance singing the iconic I Want My MTV Open, to which 1985 Dire Straits hit.
Money for Nothing.
Correct. Starship sings Baby We Can Make It If We're Heart to Heart, in which classic 1986 power ballad that was
Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Correct. Which signature 1974 hit for Bachman-Turner Overdrive features a famous stutter on the word baby.
Ain't seen nothing yet.
Correct. Metallica shows off a softer side.
Nothing else matters.
It's a 5 for 5, and the winning streak is back. The losing streak is over. 5-3. Brian, good game. Thank you for playing.
How do you do? What do you get?
3. Not bad, but not Woods-like today. You were back.
Found the fastball.
What happened?
Yeah, I found the fastball. Ruben and I were working on a couple things and
see.
just unlocked some potential.
Did you just focused more, maybe? You wanted it more?
Did
you
want
hate
it,
losing
man.
enough that you stopped losing? Is that all it took?
Yeah, I just decided to win today. I decided to win.
Maybe if Rory McIlroy just decided to win
To
more,
win a major.
it would help him out and end that tenure. He did finally respond
Tough to do, though, when you don't play in your next tournament.
yesterday after storming out in an SUV at the end of the U.S. Open. If you missed it, I have what Rory had to say, and then Jesse Agler is going to join us coming up at the bottom of the hour with more Ben and Woods after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Talked a little bit yesterday about Rory's meltdown at the U.S. Open and leaving without speaking to the media. I thought it was a missed opportunity for Rory to once again show that he's a classy guy and a decent human being who's had some trouble finishing off majors over the last decade. I mean, would you rather be the guy who has trouble finishing off the majors and ends up finishing second a bunch, or would you rather be the guy who's never in contention at all? I mean, you'd rather be in contention.
Yeah, for sure.
And by the way, and again, I'm not excusing Rory's missed putts. I'm not alibying.
You are. If you make an excuse right here, then you're alibying.
Every golfer chokes. Every golfer.
Yeah.
It's a game of
choking.
Of every bad shot is essentially a choke.
100%.
Especially for a pro.
Yeah. Especially for a pro
because
of his
they're
caliber.
so good. You know, when they hit the shot right, they're on target. They're the right distance. They're knocking it close.
Isn't that nuts, too? Because you think about it in other sports. And, I mean, those guys are so good. In other sports, it'd be like saying you have to hit a hit on every fastball you see.
There's no defense in golf. There's no pitcher trying to stop you.
No.
You can do everything right in baseball and still not get a hit.
100%.
But in golf, there's no defense.
Just put the same swing on it.
It's the golfer who chokes the least wins the tournament.
Exactly
Bryson
right.
choked. He Three putted late. Didn't make it.
Could not hit
one on the 18th hole.
Could not hit a fairway on
he
the last
didn't choke on the last shot when he needed it. Rory did. And that decided the U.S. Open. So every golfer chokes. It's just a matter of trying to do it a little bit less than the next guy. And this one was a particularly ugly one for Rory McIlroy. But he did, after things settled a day later, posted on his social media feeds, Instagram and the like, congratulations to Bryson DeChambeau. He called him a very worthy champion and very good for the game of golf, which is big, knowing, Rory has been the face of the PGA Tour versus LIV. Bryson very much has kind of been the face of LIV. It was a very a classy thing to say that Bryson both is a worthy champion and good for the game of golf. He did call it probably the toughest day he's had in his 17 years as a pro. Doesn't surprise me. He's had some tough ones, but missing two short putts that he makes between 80 and 100% of the time to lose the U.S. Open by one is agonizing. I would venture that, Woods, I put you, even in the U.S. Open pressure, and gave you 2 3-foot putts, you probably make one of them. You probably do make one of them. No, you don't make zero. It's a 3-foot putt. You probably make one of them.
When I'm
because
watching,
they're even a 50-50 proposition for an amateur golfer. It was a bad 2 misses by Rory. Bad.
When I'm watching the final rounds, I love the final round. I usually catch a little bit of the first round, and then I usually catch the final round. I always miss moving day. I forget it. I'm watching baseball.
Saturdays are busy.
They are, and I rarely miss the last 5 or 6 holes of any golf tournament on a Sunday. Rarely. I just love them. I love when they win and the kids come out. It's my favorite bit. And the wife runs, "Oh, my God, you did it." It's the best. They tell the story about my dad, and I love it. When I'm watching that, I just try to put myself even a million percent in their shoes at that point, what they're going through. All those people watching, how do they hit those drives that are, the fairway is 20 yards wide, and there are people lying the whole way? It just, every time I look at it,
kill somebody.
I would murder somebody. It would be the guy that is 14 feet to my right.
Yep.
Then
Right
I would
on the
hit a ball
ropes.
100 miles an hour right into his dome. And I watch it and I go, how do they make one shot? How do they hit one shot? How do they make one putt? I have so much respect for them. And I can totally understand why he missed both of those putts. I totally can. The pressure is enormous, man.
Oh, I understand it. I perfectly understand it. But his job as a professional is to control the things that make the rest of us miss those putts. For instance, the first one, the really short one, between a heartbeat, he jabbed at it. He was trying to, like I said, maybe just force it into the hole. But what a fool believes. Good timing, caller.
Great timing.
833-288-0973 if you know why we just played that. And then the second one, I think he overcorrected and he goes, I'm not going to make that mistake
do that again.
And he babied it, and it took too much of the break. But it's his job as a top professional to control those emotions, control those nerves, and just put the same stroke on it that makes him make 496 of those in a row. And make the 497th one in a row.
496.
That's what that's about. So Rory said he's going to take the next 3 weeks off. He's skipping the elevated event, the Travelers this week. He'll be back at the Scottish Open to defend his title, and then it's the Open Championship. One last chance to end the major drought this year. I will point out that Rory's other major choke, the 2011 Masters, when he had that big lead going into the back nine on Sunday and ended up losing it, he went on and won the U.S. Open by 8 shots in his next major after that. So maybe this is just finally knocking on the door and Rory gets it in a couple of months, or maybe it haunts him and maybe it takes an emotional toll. We'll find out, but I'll definitely be watching. Very curious about how Rory McIlroy moves on after Sunday's loss to Bryson DeChambeau. All right, we'll come back. Jesse Agler will join us. It is National Jesse Day.
Yeah,
so
look
we will
it up.
celebrate
It's a real
Jesse
thing.
Agler.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
It's his big day. And he's coming up next on 97.3 The Fan from Philadelphia. Star 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by the San Diego County Fair. Let's go retro at the San Diego County Fair now through July 7th. The magic of the Midway, live concerts, and a nostalgic celebration of fashion, culture, and more. Buy your tickets now online and learn more on what's happening at sdfair.com. That's sdfair.com. We're going to head out to the City of Brotherly Love in just a moment.
I don't feel very loved
not by
when we play them.
Not by them at all. Schwarber, Bohm, Harper, they all own the Padres.
Literally. Just, whew.
Jesse Agler's going to join us right after this. Check traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Drive-Thru Oil Change, your trusted instant drive-thru oil change. A couple things going on here, guys. In Fallbrook, crash on southbound 15 at Mission Road. Looks like a semi and car involved. They're over to the right shoulder. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a stalled transit bus. Eastbound King Freeway near Home Avenue appears to be mostly over to the right shoulder. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change Centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3.
Hit it, Paulie. Jesse Agler, it is your special day.
Your fun day.
It is great to have you on. It is your fun day. Congratulations to you.
Does he have any idea yet?
Very happy. Do you know what we're talking about?
No idea whatsoever.
Today is National Jesse Day.
National Jesse Day.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
Dude. Yes.
I think it's even spelled correctly.
Yeah, June 18th,
Jesse.
This day was created to honor and appreciate those who bear this popular name. And
feels like we shouldn't have a day, I gotta tell you.
You feel like you shouldn't have a day. Why?
No, I don't think so. It's because every human is special, okay?
That's true.
You know, no matter what your name is, no matter where you're from, you know, we should all be trying to celebrate ourselves and our loved ones every single day. But thank you for recognizing it. I appreciate that.
Did you get, I want to ask you this question about your name, Jesse. Because there's a kid on my T-ball team who I adore. His name's Jesse. And there's a thing with Jesses. I haven't known a lot of Jesses in my time. Did you like your name when you were a kid?
You know what? I was always like kind of the only Jesse.
Yes.
So it was a little bit, you know, either good or bad depending on like the year or the day how I felt about that. But the weird one to me was just always like, not weird, but like the annoying one when I was little was, you know, teachers were always spelling it wrong, or you know, like it was always like everybody was throwing the I in there. And you know, like now as an adult, I don't care when people do that, but like as like a third grader, that used to bother me a little bit. Like that's not how you spell my name, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, I never really, you know, thought too much of it one way or the other. I like it; it's mine. And this is the weirdest question I've ever had to answer.
That's fine. It also has its own day.
Can't we talk about 8 straight road losses?
Yeah, finally.
Finally.
That's what everyone wants to hear about. 8 straight road losses. You know, from the team that continually makes perfect sense. Jesse, the one that was one of the best road teams in baseball and now can't win a road game. It kind of goes back even to the last season as well. Not a lot adds up necessarily for the San Diego Padres. They lead the National League or the baseball in batting average, but the offense seems to struggle a lot. They give up very few walks and strike out tons of batters, but the pitchers give up a lot of home runs. It's a very difficult team to analyze, Jesse, and you have to kind of watch it every single day.
How much of a challenge, Ben, was it for you right there in that setup to not use the words run differential?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, the run differential is pretty much where it should be at this point. They're a little positive for under 500. It's not like last year, which was ridiculously off for where it should have been. That's when run differential becomes important to me. Like, it's all right, it's not telling the right story. This year's team is telling the right story. We just don't know why they're not necessarily, you know, performing at a better level.
I think, well, first of all, with the road stuff, they got off to the, 19-10 in their first 29 on the road. And, you know, I think a lot of people were shooting off fireworks around town because, wow, that's the sign of a great team. Yeah. I don't know that was ever sustainable. So you're probably seeing a little bit of a correction there. But I guess, look, for me right now, when I look at where they are and the way things are going, this is a very, very tough stretch for a lot of reasons. You know, for one, obviously, and this is where it starts, is the 26 games in 27 days. Then you throw on top of that, you're missing 2 of your top starting pitchers. And you throw on top of that, you got guys dinged up pretty good right now. You know, Machado and Arise, even Jerkson with the knee the other day. And it's just sort of this kind of like perfect storm, you know, to make this a little bit of a difficult run right here. And it's a run schedule-wise that really continues through the next homestand. Remember, they're going to come home Thursday after, you know, this East Coast trip. They're going to have a game Thursday night at home against the Brewers. That's a 4-game series. Then the Nats come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then finally, you know, the schedule, just from like a calendar standpoint, eases up a little bit. And the month of July should be a lot more friendly to them from that standpoint, you know, than the month of June was. But look, I'm not saying you can't have a successful run when you're playing 26 games in 27 days. But if you're dinged up the way they are, it becomes that much more difficult. And that's just kind of my like sort of sense of the state of things at this moment. But as we know, it changes 1,000 times over the course of the year. The story of April is not necessarily the story of May, and so on. And, you know, we'll see what the next month brings. Not that I'm punting on the rest of June by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think it's been a particularly challenging few weeks here.
Yeah, no question. Talking to our pal Jesse Agler here on Ben and Woods this morning, and you're with Mike Shildt a lot. You know, you're down in the scrums and listening to him, and we of course talk to him on Fridays. And you know, you see the pressers after the game. He's relentlessly positive, is how I'd put it, and I kind of understand why. I do. I watched last night though, and it. You know, what is kind of your take on being positive all the time as the manager of a big league club?
This is not specific to Mike. Okay, so what I'm saying are kind of my general thoughts on this topic. The manager of the team is not trying to manage public opinion. He is not trying to manage the fan base. He is not trying to manage the media. He is trying to manage the guys in the clubhouse. That is his primary responsibility. And I'm not saying he doesn't have an obligation of some kind to the fans of the media. That is part of the gig. They all understand that. But at the end of the day, especially on a team that has had kind of the issues that this team has had the last couple of years, he's trying to keep every one of those guys in the clubhouse on board. And here's the thing to remember. Just because somebody says something on the record publicly, those are not the extent of this guy's thoughts, feelings, and words. Those are just the ones he's giving out. And again, Mike or anybody else, these are just the things he's saying publicly. They are not the only things he's saying. And what goes on behind closed doors, and again, I'm talking generally here, not about, you know, the 2024 Padres, can be very, very different than what is said publicly. And I think that's something everybody needs to be aware of. This idea that like a public figure, a politician, a manager, whatever they say in front of a microphone is all that they're saying. It's all that they're thinking. That is wildly naive. And I think that's something to be kept in mind when you're playing the audio back every morning of what Mike Shildt said after the game, or if somebody's listening to the post-game show with Sam Levitt here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan, and they're hearing Mike Shildt, and they're going, what is he talking about? That's not what I'm seeing. Believe me, for Mike and every other manager. Now, look, different guys have different personalities, different approaches. But for this team this year, I think it's pretty clear, right? Mike Shildt has made a calculated choice that he is not going to be throwing guys under the bus publicly. He doesn't think that does him any good. His job, again, his responsibility is to get these guys in the clubhouse to perform at their greatest level. And again, I haven't talked to him about this. To me, this is just sort of like optics 101, kind of looking at how all of it's gone, taking into account what we've seen and heard the last couple of years. It would appear to me he has made a decision that, you know, that's not the way he's going to handle it publicly. But again, you have to remember, just because he's doing one thing publicly doesn't mean he isn't permitted to do something else, you know, behind closed doors.
Jesse, let's talk about the opponent for a second. And I get the Phillies aren't infallible. They ran into the Diamondbacks in the playoffs last year, the World Series the year before, and they had just lost 5 of 7. Yet you watch them on the field, and I don't know about you, do they look like the most complete team that you've seen so far this year? Now getting a second look at them.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that in April, and I think that again now. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt that, you know, they're 4-0 against the Padres and that they've mashed, you know, in every single one of those games. But yeah, you know, that was my takeaway at the end of April when we saw them in San Diego. That was my takeaway walking away last night, is that, you know, they do look, I think complete is the right word. They look like the most, you know, top to bottom team, certainly that we've seen this year. You know, I don't know if I can speak to the American League teams quite as much. You know, I would have wanted a little bit longer of a look at the Yankees to kind of get a sense of them, you know, particularly from the pitching side. But yeah, no, I think the Phillies are the class of the National League. And does that mean anything in October? I don't know. You know, I mean, like you said, they had a 2-0 lead against the Diamondbacks in the NLCS last year and weren't able to close it out with a lot of these same guys playing really, really well. 2 years ago, of course, they beat the Padres to win the pennant and then lost in the World Series. So, you know, the way this whole system is set up now, it does not necessarily reward greatness, but they sure look great. They really do.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you know, they're a team you just don't. They don't feel like they're ever out of it. And I had that feeling about this team, Jesse, and you know, Skip said last night, you know, it was the only game that got away, and pretty much he said there's like 4 games that the Padres have been bodied and we're kind of out of it, which is, I mean, that's fine at the end of the day. They have this. Now, let's be fair. You would have squared up some of those pitches last night from Randy Vasquez. I mean, those were 92 center cut. I take my chances with Jesse Agler in the box last night. Just not super competitive from Vasquez last night. And I understand he's still learning and everything, but you can't do that against a lineup that is that deep, top to bottom, that just punishes mistakes.
I mean, what was the line Shildt used last night? It was great. Growing pains are painful. You know, they're called growing pains for a reason. And you know, this is a guy, his first trip really around, you know, not as a full-time starter. I know he's an injury replacement, but, you know, he's getting to sort of live the life of a full-time starter for right now in the rotation. And, yeah, man, that's part of the deal. Very few guys get it right their first time through. Not to say there aren't going to be really good ones. We've seen him have some really good ones. But there are going to be difficult times. There are going to be difficult games. Certain matchups are going to present, you know, really particular difficulties, and that was the case last night. You know, anytime guys are learning on the fly at the major league level and kind of going through it for the first time, generally stuff like this is going to happen. And that's what makes what Jackson Merrill has done this year so incredibly impressive to me, is that there's just, it seems to me there's not been a single at-bat all year long where the guy seemed overmatched by the moment. And that is so rare and something we should not take for granted. You know, we saw it with Fernando as a rookie. Not only did he not look overmatched, he looked like he was overmatching the opposition, you know, on a near nightly basis his first time through. Those guys are freaks, man. That's not the way it usually happens. That's not the way it's supposed to go. And we should always kind of, I think, take a step back and appreciate when something like that is happening.
No doubt.
So, Jesse, I feel like I may owe you an apology. I may have gotten too aggressive last week on the incorporator, so I'm sorry if I got in your head or anything.
He ruined it.
I'm going to try to make it up for you this week. Are you still game for the incorporator?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. I actually feel terrible about last week.
Don't feel terrible. I feel terrible.
Ben should feel terrible.
No.
And so what I want to do is I want to go back to our roots. And our very first incorporator word was a food word.
Yeah, mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So we're going back to our roots with a food word.
Mustard.
For tonight's. No, it's not exactly a condiment.
Relish.
It's a little tough.
Relish.
It's a little tougher than that. Paulie, if you would please.
Cracker Jack.
Congee.
Congee?
Congee.
What is that?
Congee. It's a form of savory rice porridge that you get by boiling rice in a large amount of water until the rice softens. It's often served Asia, you know, like China's the breakfast food with
a bowl of rice.
It's a bowl of very wet, mushy rice. Congee.
Sounds so good. Congee.
I like that.
All right.
I like how that was not presented when we were in Seoul, Korea a couple of months ago. We saved it for Philadelphia. Yeah, that's
Too
good.
easy.
Going down to Pat and Gino's to get a nice congee in Philadelphia.
How is Philly, by the way?
Steak with some congee on it. It's very hot.
Is it?
Very, very hot.
Yeah,
today.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like 90-something.
Staying in your room?
But
or what?
I'm about to work out. So we'll get that in.
All right, show off. I get it. I did yoga this morning for 7 minutes, by the way.
Did you?
7-minute
Good for
yoga.
you.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's called Lazy Yoga, and it's like an app. And so I did it the last
Feels
2
like
days.
a contradiction.
It does, doesn't it? It sucks. And you watch the lady do it on the thing, and then you look at yourself in the mirror doing it. It's not even close. It's not even
Got all those
close.
poses. There's downward dog.
Yeah, mountain. I do all
I
that.
like beached whale.
Yeah,
that's
me
my
and you
pose.
both. I like cheesesteak. That's my favorite yoga pose. Enjoy your workout, buddy. Thank you. Sorry about Ben. And let's get that dub tonight.
Real quick, while we got Jesse,
Oh.
do you remember, Jesse, that first incorporator is mayonnaise? Do you remember how it went? How it was executed?
With Uncle Teddy.
So you got your crab meat, your lump crab meat, your mayonnaise, your breadcrumbs, your spices and herbs, all that goes into it. But sometimes too many breadcrumbs, too much filler, not as good.
Thank you, Bobby Flay.
Yes. Well, you know, a little bit of a foodie, a little bit of a food snob.
I'm a little bit of an eater.
A little bit of an eater lays me out.
God bless Teddy, man. That's the best.
Amazing.
Those two during the Incorporator was pretty. We had some epic times.
I pulled my diphthong in college.
Yeah, I pulled my diphthong in college.
Safe
Amazing.
trip back to San Diego this week,
Thank
Jesse.
you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Later.
Jesse Agler, voice of the Padres, the Incorporator. Listen for Kanji this afternoon. Another 3:40 start from Citizens Bank Park with a Sammy Levitt, Eco Water SoCal Padres pregame show at 2:40 again this afternoon in a hot and sticky Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like there's any plans to go visit the Liberty Bell today for Jesse
I heard Tony
Agler.
Gwynn Jr. did go get a cheesesteak, though.
Oh, did he?
Yesterday.
Ooh.
And he did not get one last year. Tony tries to eat pretty healthy on the road, but he said, I was hungry, it was close, I went for it, it was fantastic, and now I'm feeling very bad about myself.
It's one of those foods that you love, and the minute you're done, you're like,
I didn't need that.
You're like, I am
Did
the
not need
worst.
that.
It's like, I mean, you're like, I'm a huge load, and I love them. Oh, I love a cheesesteak. I really do.
It's just fat and carbs all together.
Yeah, delicious.
There's nothing redeeming.
Nothing.
Maybe.
No, don't say protein.
The peppers?
No, the peppers. No. There's nothing.
There's
redeeming.
really nothing redeeming about a cheesesteak.
I'll
Pure
eat
pleasure.
I'll eat a chicken cheesesteak too. Those are delicious.
A little
bit better.
little leaner.
Steak's good. What does it need? Cheese. Melted cheese.
Yeah, melted cheese and
bread.
a loaf of bread.
Giant
around
loaf of bread.
100%. Oh,
All right,
so
we'll
good.
come back. Reindl Report, final hour of Ben and Woods coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. This too shall pass, is what Mike Shildt said yesterday. Thinks his team's struggles are temporary and they will get back on track, hopefully sooner rather than later. We will find out as they continue their road trip in Philadelphia later today. I know they're still going to be playing the Phillies today. And whether he's facing the Padres or anyone else, Kyle Schwarber is a monster in the month of June. He is, we thought Fernando Tatis Jr. was a great June ball player. Did you see that Kyle Schwarber, with his 2 home runs yesterday, now has 60 career home runs in 172 games in June? So essentially just over
Fastest
a full
ever.
season.
It's Babe Ruth's pace.
He's Babe Ruth in the month of June. That first one he hit, 441 feet. I mean, center field and way out to center field.
I want to.
Is there a safer bet than Kyle Schwarber hitting a bomb against the Padres?
How did we not put that money down yesterday? I wish, I want to hate the Phillies team. I cannot. I'm insanely jealous of them. Insanely. I don't know what their, that's one of the things, man. I don't know what their payroll is. I don't know who they've developed on their own. I don't know anything about them other than I just enjoy watching them play baseball because they are a really good baseball team. And when one guy goes down, like JT Realmuto, their third string catcher comes in and gets 4 knocks last night.
Fourth highest payroll in baseball at $245 million.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I mean,
They're getting what they
they're
paid
paying
for.
for good players.
Yeah, and they're getting
I just looked it up. Kyle Schwarber's prop bet line for a home run today is plus 187. That number is usually around 300.
Holy cow.
For most
Well, Michael
sluggers.
King is a right-hander who gives up a lot of home runs. So Kyle
actually not
Schwarber's
a
a
great
left-hander
payout.
who hits a lot of home runs. They see that, and they're going to go, can't give you that great of odds on that one. Sorry, gentlemen.
Like Fernando, for example, is plus 333.
Well, he's
Schwarber's
facing a tough
187.
right-hander in Aaron Nola today. Different story. Now, Michael King's a good pitcher, but he has had a problem with the long ball. And that is obviously a concern when you're going up against a Philadelphia Phillies team at a ballpark that tends to give up some home runs in Citizens Bank Park. We'll talk more about today's game coming up. I want to talk about the injury situation with the Padres pitching staff. Had an update yesterday on Darvish from Mike Shildt, and the stunner, the All-Star Game first ballot totals were released.
I got
and
that for you here.
Well, but we'll get it right now then. I was going to save it, but Paulie's got it in our Reindl Report, so let's get to it. And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Good
Indeed.
morning, my friends.
Hey, good morning, Paulie.
Yeah, let's start with the first round of MLB All-Star voting, the fan vote going on right now. Now, it's kind of weird. They do it in 2 phases, I guess. So phase 1.
They introduced that in the last couple of years.
Right. So phase 1 is running currently through June 27th. It's June 18th right now. And so the top vote getter from each league at each position, or from each league, earns a starting spot. And then in phase 2, the top 2 vote getters at all the other positions are placed on there. And then there's a couple of manager spots as well.
No, so I believe, and now you've got me a little confused. The top 2 at each position will be the finalists that'll go then to another fan vote. So then they reset the numbers, and then after the second vote, the winner is the starter at each position.
All right, well, you
So
want to be in the top at your
you have
position.
to be in the
either
top.
way.
You have to be in the top to get into the final vote, and then after the final vote, whoever wins is the starter at their position in their respective leagues.
Okay.
Would it be surprising to you? They don't do pitchers, by the way. This is just position players, DH. If I told you that if the fan voting, as it stands right now, the Padres have 3 starters in the All-Star game.
Third of the lineup will be Padres starting for the
'Cause,
National League.
Jurickson Profar leads all of the outfielders with like 900,000 votes.
Well deserved.
And that made me so happy to see because, and I don't know how many people actually listening really care about the All-Star game and if the players are getting snubbed
You
or
know what's
anything
weird
like
is
that.
I love the game and everything. I always forget to vote. I need to vote.
Go vote.
You vote 5 times a day.
5 times a day. Probably not going to do that.
Now,
I'll vote
looking
once.
at the numbers and people that know ball know that Jurickson Profar is playing at an all-star level.
Correct.
But it's a popularity contest as well, and I was surprised that he, in the first wave of voting, is crushing everybody.
But who are the other choices out there, really?
Fair enough.
In the National League outfield, it's a really thin crop this year.
Second-
Jurickson stands out.
Second
You're a
place.
thin crop. You
Thanks.
know that?
Second place in the outfield, voting-wise, went to Christian Yelich, and then Fernando Tatis Jr. in third place.
Okay.
So 2 Padres in the outfield as of right now, and then Luis Arraez has a very narrow lead over Marte at second base.
Okay.
Listed at second base.
And
'Cause, Bryce
Manny, by
Harper.
the way, is also in second, which would get him to the finals of the third base vote. I
I
believe.
think I would like him to rest.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's well behind. He's barely in second, and first place is Bohm. I think is well ahead for the
He's
Phillies.
having a monster
He's having a
year.
huge year.
He's
So
leading
I
all
would
third
expect him to
basemen
be
now.
the starter, but Manny is currently second in the voting. Plus, I'm also expecting Robert Suarez to be closer or one of the closers for the National League. So trending toward 4 All-Stars potentially for your San Diego Padres.
Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper, no surprises. They led both leagues overall in votes.
Yep. Makes sense.
So we got in the MLB All-Star Game. We'll follow those numbers as they come out every week and a half or so. I don't like that I'm doing this second story. We were gonna do this and don't do this, and we forgot. Shocker, but it's a good friend of our show. What happened
What happened?
yesterday with our buddy Landon Donovan?
Saw this and I thought to myself, well, obviously somebody's doing a bit. And
I
then-
saw it and I go, who the hell is that?
I knew exactly who it was. And I thought to myself, somebody is, really good at Photoshop or they did something and they're messing with our beloved Landon Donovan.
Landon Donovan is a local. He's a listener. He's a guest on this show. I love LD.
So
and he was calling the Euro 2024,
Yep.
and he's on camera with Fox Sports.
Correct.
And there was a still shot going around on anywhere you looked on social media.
It's
in
unbelievable.
sports social media yesterday, and he's turned to his right, talking to Rob Stone or whoever was there on the broadcast, and my man has, I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, he's got hair plugs that have not grown in.
Saw it and I thought, oh.
I was like, did he lose a bet? Did he have a full head of hair and they just shaved him blindly? Haha, you got to go on TV now?
Yeah. So I thought, again, someone who was doing a bit. So then Mike McGee tweets this out. He says, LD, it's a screenshot
of a text.
LD, check Twitter ASAP and probably fire your barber. Landon does the facepalm emoji and says, where were you 7 hours ago? I had a hair transplant procedure 2 weeks ago and was told it wouldn't show up on camera. I said, who told you that? Rafa Marquez? Who's that?
He's the one of the Mexican players. He's the Barcelona coach now, I think.
And then he gave him the finger, and he said, can I post this? And he goes, whatever. I deserve it. Good night, Mo.
So Landon said he was told that the hair transplant wouldn't show up on camera. Now, I've been in television for a while, and what I have learned is that
the camera,
if you can see something in real life, you can also see it on the camera.
They say
I
the
have
camera
my
adds.
shirt up. You can't see my hairy white
The
belly.
camera simply shows.
No, the doctor said you couldn't see this.
Shows what you can actually see with your eyes as well. There's no magic filter that all of a sudden turns your hair into a perfect coif.
Oh, man.
When you turn on the television camera. It simply shows what you look like. I mean, you can do a little bit with lighting, maybe.
I wonder if he said
makeup, but
hey,
the camera actually does nothing.
Here's the thing. If I'm staring directly at the camera, you may not be able to see
That's
it.
possible, yes.
What the guy should have said is, all right, yeah, you're fine to go on TV.
Look straight
Don't
ahead.
turn your head at all.
Ever.
You must,
for any reason.
It must be a shot straight at you at all times. But he was not. He was doing the talking to someone where they're looking at each other, and you're seeing the side of his head, which was quite apparent.
Now, it did beg the question, and my wife and I had a 15-minute discussion about it yesterday. Couple reasons that in my opinion, now listen, you can't ever tell somebody, oh, hey, be happy with what you have. Be comfortable in your own skin. You can do what makes yourself comfortable. You guys know me. I want to get these jowls. I wouldn't mind getting these jowls cut out right here and have a firm, chiseled Skip Schumacher chin one day, right? It's going to cost me a fortune, but I think I would do it. Not coming to work, though. But we had this combo. Hannah goes, why doesn't he just let it go bald? He's got a good
shaved
He's got
head.
a good shape.
Yeah.
All right, here's our logic behind it.
Just shave the head.
Number one, you're famous. Number one, you are maybe the world's greatest American soccer player of all time. You're world famous.
Mm-hmm.
You're handsome as hell. You pull it off. You're like a shorter guy with a perfect head. That plays. Bald plays in that arena. We literally at dinner 15 minutes talking about it, and we both were in agreement. I said, it's like Adam. Adam's a little bub. He looks okay with a shaved head. You know what I mean? If he came in and tried to get hair, that would look weirder to me. And so I think you just gotta let it. But again, you can't tell him there's something about it, he wants some hair. But I think he could pull off the bald look.
Absolutely. He could pull off the shaved head look. He'd look a little tougher.
I think so. Well, tougher than that.
Intimidating,
picture.
Perhaps. That picture's not that intimidating.
It doesn't do him any favors because he is a handsome SOB. And so now he's getting worn out. I love, though, this is my favorite part about him. You know what? He's like, just post it. I own it. I'll wear it. Yeah. I deserve it. I love that. I absolutely, the ability to laugh at yourself is so key. But again, it goes back to you're world famous. You're fine, man. You can do anything you want.
So,
you can be bald.
Paul,
Nobody's going to wear you out.
Call this up. 1 minute ago, Landon Donovan posted a picture of responding to that Mike McGee tweet and the picture of him. And it's a shot of Landon. Looks like when he's maybe 17, 18 years old. And he has a gorgeous head of hair. Absolutely luscious locks that he is showing. And he says, I'm just trying to get back to the old Landon Donovan. Back to his glory days.
I mean, he is literally, though, he's handsome already. Yeah, Kelly Slater. Those are guys that can look really cool bald. If I could do it, I would. I do not have a good shaped head. You don't either. Blockhead.
No.
No.
You
block.
I need the hair as long as possible.
Let me see how. It's a decent shaped head. Bald would look weird. Have you ever shaved your head? Oh yeah, you have. I've seen it. Buzz cut.
Yeah, not.
Never bit.
No.
I think he could do it.
Come on, man, LD right there.
There he is. Hey, love yourself, LD. We love you. We think you're fantastically handsome.
He's great.
And if you're listening, bald would have been better than that picture.
All right, finally, I have a story here for the ages. A wealthy middle-aged man from England is suing Apple.
Okay.
Got an iPhone. He's suing Apple because his wife found a bunch of text messages that he sent to prostitutes.
Are we sure Apple just didn't preload those onto the phone?
I guess we're not totally sure.
Darling, it came from an app. I have no idea.
It's like, remember when everybody got an iPod and it had like a U2 album just downloaded on when you bought it?
Love that record. Everyone complaining about a free record. Yeah. And that's where civilization really went down. Everyone's crying about a free record.
Write your text right now. Free text to prostitutes already on your phone.
You carry around prostitute cards in your wallet, which is interesting.
They were a gift.
Yeah, but you carry them around. Just in case?
Because I value my friendship with Paulie.
It's the same thing that this guy did, just in digital form.
Yeah.
These are digital cards that he carries around his wallet.
Needless to say, they're divorced now. But he is saying that he deleted these text messages from his phone.
Nothing ever deleted.
His wife found them on their iMac desktop computer that they shared in their home. She filed for divorce less than a month later.
Cloud got him.
Took him for everything. And he is suing to get that money back. I told you, he was wealthy. He is arguing in court that Apple needs to cover the fees of his, attorneys and everything, and what he lost in the divorce, which is over $6 million. He says that him and his wife were very happily married for over 20 years and blah, blah, blah. He says if she found out that he was cheating in some other way, they might have been able to work through it. But her finding those text messages was just too much. She couldn't forgive him. And she had to move on. So if you delete your text messages off your phone, just know, if you have an iPhone, just know if you have your iCloud is connected to your MacBook Pro or your iMac at home or anything like that.
Well, do you think he has a case?
No, I do not. I mean, I don't know. You said this is in London?
Yeah, it says
I don't know what English law necessarily is.
His lawyers are looking into making it a class action lawsuit if other men can come forward and say the same thing happened to them.
But he's the one who sent the texts. No one forced him to send those texts. Right? It's not Apple that caused his marriage to dissolve.
No, for sure.
It's his own behavior and actions.
But if he's just covering his ass out there, right? Like thought his ass was covered.
But she didn't get the money because of Apple. She got the money because she divorced him. I mean, I'm looking. It doesn't appear that they had a prenuptial agreement or anything.
Jay says, "No judge. A judge with powdered wig will make this ruling." That's true. That is true. Interesting.
In a way, Apple, what they've done is they've forced the right thing to be done. They've forced the truth to come out. He was trying to hide the truth. Essentially, he was trying to lie to his wife, a lie of omission. But by deleting the text, he didn't want her to know something. They simply made it more convenient for her to find out what was already true. Apple didn't change the course of anything other than revealing the truth of the situation. They're not responsible for that. He's responsible for that.
If you thought they were deleted.
Ruling in favor of the defendant.
Okay.
And the plaintiff is required to pay all legal fees as
I
well.
think he already
in this
did.
case.
And then some. Half. All right. Thank you, Paulie.
Hey, you're welcome.
Padres got some good news yesterday. I don't know why I'm feeling like it's also bad news. I will share when we come back with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. So Mike Shildt did say that Darvish is getting close to return. In fact, he's going to throw a rehab start tomorrow, I believe, at Fort Wayne.
Yes,
for
sir.
the Tin Caps.
My beloved Tin Caps.
On the high A level, which means if that goes well, probably expect to see Darvish back in the starting rotation sometime next week when the Padres are back on their next homestand. Seems like good news. However, it also means that we're going to get another Adam Mazur start on Thursday in the homestand opener against the Milwaukee Brewers, another good team. And Mazur has struggled to find the strike zone, and I think all things being equal, as a fan, I'd prefer that Adam Mazur's next start came back in the minor leagues and not on the big league level again. Hopefully he'll throw better and build some confidence, for the future. But at this point, it feels like throwing Adam Mazur out there is simply waving the white flag a bit on a game.
And you hate Adam Mazur.
I don't hate him. He's just not.
Paulie, what did he do to?
He walked 6 batters in his last game. Maybe I've got that bit of Mike Shildt in me.
Coffee on your new Lulus or
I
something?
can't. I hate watching my team's pitchers just walk tons of batters.
It's the worst. It is the
it's
worst.
so hard to watch. It's my least favorite form of baseball.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, there's been some
terrible,
painful Padres baseball, but for the most part, they haven't had a bunch of pitchers that just walk the farm every time they go out there. And these starts, watching Adam Mazur pitch has been very frustrating for me personally. Don't like it.
I mean, it's like watching Blake Snell without the filthy 12 strikeouts that also came along with the 6 walks.
And Blake could be frustrating as well, but again, he got a lot of swing and miss.
He got a lot of swing and miss.
Not getting much swing and miss.
It balanced out a little bit.
Yeah,
you walk guys and you let the guys also that don't walk make contact. You're just asking for trouble.
It is.
In the big
It's
leagues.
maybe the worst feeling ever when you're in the field and your pitcher cannot find the zone. It's like the worst feeling of all time. And if you're the pitcher who walks the farm, it's also the worst feeling of all time.
You're like on an island.
You're on an island, and Trevor
Just
Hoffman's
dying.
screaming at you and saying you can't throw a strike. Yeah, those things have happened. But yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I mean, it's hard, man, because like you watch Vasquez pitch last night, and what did he do? He just threw it right down the middle. You can't do that either. So it's a very difficult thing to do of locating and getting swing and miss. If you don't have swing and miss in your arsenal, and those guys know you can't land a certain pitch, Benny, and they can go up there subtracting a curveball or whatever, and all right, I'm going to sit dead red. And if you're not locating and getting weak contact, you're dead. You're dead at this level. You're dead at almost every level.
We talked about yesterday's game and the recent losing skid on the road especially, and it's hard to diagnose things that go wrong with the Padres, but clearly right now their pitching depth is being taxed. Jesse Agler talked about it. 26 games, 27 days. With Darvish and Musgrove out, it's a tough stretch for the Padres. One thing I was hoping for, though, at the start of the season was, you get through the first few months and then maybe some reinforcements arrive. Snelling and Mazur later in the season. Well, Mazur's arrived and doesn't look like he's ready. Snelling has, for the most part, struggled. Lesko has, for the most part, struggled in the minor leagues. I don't know that the Padres have any reinforcements coming later in the season. They've got what they've got. And right now, they have 2 so-called aces who can't stay on the field. They have Michael King, who's shown a lot of promise, but also gives up a lot of home runs. They have Dylan Cease, who has been mostly good, but has thrown in a couple of clunkers, including his last start. And as we said yesterday, they have their ace, who is Matt Waldron so far of the staff. He's been a great surprise, but the rest of the pitching staff has been a little underwhelming, a little disappointing, and there's not a sign that the Padres are going to get anything in the future. Brito and Vasquez were both considered rotation possibilities in spring training when the trade occurred with Juan Soto. Neither of them has grabbed the bull by the horns when it comes to going, I'm comfortable with him making another 15 starts this year. Not really comfortable with Randy Vasquez yet making a bunch more starts. Johnny Brito hasn't really even been given that opportunity because he hasn't pitched well enough out of the bullpen. So the pitching depth issue is probably the most pressing concern for the Padres. Of course, every other team is looking for pitching right now. Padres have talked about Garrett Crochet and looking for other pitchers, but the price tag is going to be extremely high at the moment.
Exorbitant. Yes, an exorbitant.
But I don't know that they can survive the rest of the season unless Joe Musgrove does come back in July and is healthy the rest of the way, if Yu Darvish is healthy the rest of the way, okay, maybe they can do it. But what are the odds now? Once you've gone on the DL or the IL twice, do you really think they're coming back without interruption the rest of the year?
Well, they say the third time is the charm. I mean, yeah. It's
not a very charming charm.
It's a lot of what ifs for the San Diego Padres, and that's how it's been for a long time. What ifs?
And if you have an
offense
that is absolutely raking, you can overcome, if he starts from your pitching staff, but they haven't had that kind of offense.
Could raise, would raise, should raise.
Yeah, the could raise, would raise, should raise. I like that. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Excited for tonight.
So, good news with a whole lot of, I don't know about that, on the back end of Yu Darvish's potential somewhat soon return, hopefully, to the Padres' ailing starting rotation.
Cool. Very excited for tonight's game.
I am. I like watching Michael King pitch.
I like watching the Phillies hit. Fun team.
Hey, no show tomorrow to break it down.
Yeah, exactly. Be a go.
I mean, it's not Randy Vasquez or Adam Major necessarily.
Like Michael King too. Yeah.
There's no reason the Padres shouldn't have a chance in this game today. Aaron Nola has done well against the Padres. They've beaten him a couple of times as well.
He's fallible.
He got absolutely lit up in his last start. Please, maybe there's something wrong. Sometimes other teams have pitchers that have things going wrong as well. It's not just the Padres. Take advantage of one of those guys for once. He's not left-handed. That at the very least, I can promise you that.
Sigh of relief.
That Aaron Nola will not show up and stun everyone by throwing left-handed against the Padres today to take advantage of that weakness. So you got that going for you in Game 2 of the series this afternoon at 3:40, 2:40, Sammy Levitt, Eco Water SoCal pregame show. All right, final segment of Ben and Woods is coming up. We're going to give away some Padres tickets right now, though. We have tickets for Thursday's series opener against the Milwaukee Brewers. It is a special limited edition themed Padres hat giveaway day. If you want to celebrate German heritage, you can purchase a special ticket package that includes that theme Padres hat. Just go to Padres.com/tickets to get details. But if you want to call and win, be the fifth caller at 833-288-0973. Fifth caller at 833-288-0973. Going to win the pair of tickets for Thursday's game with the Milwaukee Brewers, another first-place team coming to town to Petco Park. See, an entire week of playing first-place teams.
Yeah, a couple lefties, too, I think, in the mix.
Of course, why not? It's Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back.
A great idea for this last segment. The Ben and Woods live on-air nap. Oh.
You tired? Because this is the beginning of a very long week still, not the end of it. I totally get, by the time we get to Thursday or Friday, we are going to be completely and totally wrecked this week.
Do you have two demon seed children running? You do, but they're not insane.
Not quite maybe as actively insane as yours, but no, I've been dealing with some stuff as well.
You got the 3-year-old that used to be the world's best sleeper, the world's best. All right, buddy, good night. Night-night, Dada. Done. Never heard from him again. This little SOB will not stay in his bed, Ben. He will, and he screams and cries, so we are in sleep regression mode. And then my 6-year-old thinks he's 16 and is challenging me every day. Like, I'm like, why are you glaring at me like that? Like you want to punch me in the face. You're 6 years old. I don't know how these kids became such a-holes. I have no idea.
Since he thinks he's 16, maybe you need this.
This book. Found it yesterday.
Yeah, the workbook.
Make me reset this entirely.
Yeah.
But we have the, if you missed it in the opening segment of the show today, it was really good.
It's like take a book, leave a book.
Take a book, leave a book. It's a cute little, it looks like a big birdhouse, but it's got the door and you open, you've seen it in your neighborhood maybe, and there's books.
Someone who's very crafty and community oriented set it up probably.
And I don't even remember if you mentioned it in the beginning of the show. It's mostly for children?
No.
Or just anybody?
No, it's just for anybody. But it's, hey, I'm going to leave my Tom Clancy book in here, and you take
John
it.
Grisham.
Yeah, I'll take your
yeah.
John Grisham. And but people I think what people do is they're getting rid of stuff and they just jam it in there. They're like,
as opposed to, don't want to throw it away.
Throw it away.
So
I'll
let's
just put it in the box.
Stick it in the library.
So they go down there, and Taylor likes to look through it, my 3-year-old, and he pulls it out, and Hannah doesn't notice. She just says, oh, he's got like a workbook. They get home. She leaves it on the counter. I get home yesterday, and on the counter is Birds plus Bees plus Your Kids, a guide to sharing your beliefs about sexuality, love, and relationships. My 3-year-old grabbed this from the community.
Bedtime reading.
Bedtime
nighttime
reading.
Story. Did you tell him any good nighttime stories last night?
I found this. I opened right to this page
let's
again.
read.
I did this earlier, but I'll do it again.
Try another page.
Yeah, just go to a random page.
Well, I did. This is the one I opened.
Okay.
Describe the behavior. I see you and Billy are looking at each other's penises. I feel uncomfortable when this happens. Why don't you pull up your pants and let's go play outside? We'll talk about this later. That somebody said earlier.
Redirect.
That's my new
positive redirection.
That's my new motto to the San Diego Padres.
That's the quote
Pull
of the
up
day.
your pants.
Why don't you pull up your pants? Let's go play outside, and we'll talk about this later. Pull up your pants.
This is a useful book.
San Diego
Can you
Padres.
apply anything else in this book to the Padres? Now I want to know. Pull up your pants. Let's go play outside, and we'll talk about this later.
I'm looking right now.
The 2024 San Diego
All right.
Padres. All right.
What do you remember about your emotional state at puberty? What do I want to hear from my parents about this time in your life?
Oh, Bob, it's just kid stuff.
Damn you, Paulie. This is unbelievable. Oh, here's the part they talk about freak dancing or sex dancing. It's happening.
By the way, nobody has ever referred to it as that.
Never. It's happening at nearly every middle and high school dance. This is when the boy stands behind the girl who, while dancing, provocatively bends over as the boy is dancing and sometimes rubbing against her.
Is this twerking? Are
Grinding.
we talking about twerking?
No, twerking is a solo act.
Oh, okay.
This is freak dancing or sex dancing. And this is the book that I...
this is the forbidden dance.
That's the book that my son brought, and I brought it in. I'm going to leave it in the studio. It can stay here for anybody to... It's a workbook.
It's definitely not Goodnight Moon.
No, it is not Goodnight Moon. It definitely is not Goodnight Moon. So, yeah. This is kid stuff.
All right.
It's tough.
Well, Woodsy naps away. We're going to check traffic one more time here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Fish Market, serving the freshest catches from waters near, far, and everywhere in between. Just a couple things wrapping up our morning drive. One is a hit-and-run crash on westbound 8 past the 163. It's always a tricky spot. Yeah, they're over to the right shoulder, and an accident clearing stage on northbound side of the 805 right before the 8. That is over to the right shoulder. We've also got a stalled vehicle southbound side of the 125 on or near the Hamashaw Road off-ramp, blocking lanes. Skip the fried food this year and grab some healthy, fresh catch at the fish market. So good. The fish market off the 5 next to the Del Mar Fairgrounds and downtown on North Harbor Drive. I'm Kelly Danek with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So as I was saying, we're going to be completely wiped at the end of this week because although we are off tomorrow, it's a company holiday, we decided to make that day the date for our 3rd annual-ish Chrome Tour Ben & Woods Open at Goat Hill Park. We've got a full field. We've got 2 shotguns. So we're going to be there setting up, 6 a.m. and then 4 hours plus of golf in the morning, and then probably 4 to 5 hours in the afternoon. Prizes, awards, making sure everybody's having a good time. Probably going to be our longest day of the year.
Oh, yeah. It's
just
be
out there for
awesome,
13, 14, 15 hours, making sure that everyone is enjoying themselves, having a really good time. We got great sponsors that have really stepped up, and hopefully everyone's going to have a fantastic time. If you did sign up, we're looking forward to seeing you.
If you didn't.
If you didn't, though, please come join us and enter the raffle. We have some amazing raffle prizes, really top-notch prizes that you can win, and you don't even have to be a participant. You just have to come and buy some raffle tickets. You can either stay for the drawing or put your name and phone number on it, and we will contact all the winners at the end of the day. You can visit our heckle hole, which is right there.
The guy that shows up, he's there for 20 minutes, buys
a raffle,
5 raffle tickets,
and wins the suite.
Wins a couple of them, yeah. Including, the suite night at the Padres game. We got another VIP Padres ticket package from the Padres as well. We talked about the Lululemon package that's going to be cool, like an individual fitting and
your
Pretty Woman Day.
Pretty Woman Day,
and we got a Ben & Woods basket, bunch
of
Ben & Woods merch,
basket's going to be great.
Co-host for a day.
Yeah. We got my wife had an amazing, it's a fun on the 101 in Leucadia, Encinitas, a hotel stay, restaurant gift certificates, swag, and merchandise from a bunch of the shops, and this beautiful custom Nixon watch.
Game
Ben &
worn.
Woods.
Yeah,
Game worn, yeah. And plus we have watches for the
sweat.
closest to the pin winners as
right.
well tomorrow
awesome,
for both of the rounds. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And
good food, good donuts. Good hot dogs, the best hot dogs
you called for the donuts this morning, and they said, "Oh, the golf tournament."
Yeah,
they were ready for your call.
It was very cool. They were ready, the best in the world, and we're bringing those in.
But we're going to get through that, and then we come back Thursday, and we'll have a 4-hour show, then an hour roundtable. Then the CEO of our company just happens to be visiting, so that's all hands on deck, big meeting in the afternoon.
Well, we better bring he's probably listening. If he's in town, that means he's listening to our show. We're going to come in here sounded like a bag of mashed up a-holes. And then, he's going to be listening. Like, these are the guys, these are our dudes? Okay. So we got to bring the noise on Thursday. It's going to be rough.
Will we be talking about...
Maybe we should have him on the show.
Bad idea. Bad idea, Ben. What's the Padres road series, road trip look like when we get back on Thursday morning?
Yeah, it could potentially be pretty gnarly. 0-6.
They're 0-4
I mean,
right
let's
now.
just assume it's going to be 0-6 and be pleasantly surprised if it's anything better than that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, they're playing the Phillies. They haven't beaten the Phillies once this year.
Nope.
Kyle Schwarber, I'm assuming he's going to be in the lineup today because, Rob Thompson's not an idiot. So he's going to be right there, batting leadoff, ready to hit another home run or two. Why wouldn't he be? No, everyone needs a day off every once in a while, but it ain't happening if you're Schwarber. It's June. You're facing the Padres, and you're taking on a right-hander who has given up as many home runs as anyone in baseball this year. Pretty sure he's going to be in the lineup. Harper's going to be in the lineup. They're all salivating at their opportunity, and hopefully, we've seen Michael King have absolute untouchable stuff this season. He'll need to have one of his good days to give the Padres a chance to win this one.
And the offense is got to show up. We need some doubles. We need some home runs. We need some runs. I mean, it's just you got to back this guy up, man. Michael King's had a rough go of it, run support wise. So I mean, just go back him up, get him some runs tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a perfect day. By the way,
that's good.
Yeah.
Well, and not for the Padres though, because the team that struggles against left-handers is facing the absolute most successful left-hander in baseball this year in Ranger Suarez, who's been fantastic.
Yeah, man.
That's how they have to end the road trip tomorrow.
And 0-6 is pretty gnarly right into a round table. But, that's what we get paid to do. They need to take it upon themselves, man, to figure out a way to win these, scratch out these last two. And I know it's difficult, man. I know it is. These are really good arms you're going up against. That's a really good lineup, but you cannot come limping back getting swept twice. You can't. And expect people to, hell yeah, the Brewers are coming, the Nationals are coming. You got to show us something. I'm telling you, man, 9 to what was it, 9-3? 9-2. I think I said 9-3 earlier. Gave them credit for an extra run they didn't earn. You got to show us something, like you care, like you want to win, like you're trying to win. It's tough. It's a tough watch. It's a very tough watch right now.
Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals is tonight. Hockey season may end. It's in Florida, so the Panthers return with a 3-1 lead, trying to eliminate the Oilers the way the Boston Celtics did last night, and finished off the NBA Finals in 5 games against the Dallas Mavericks. Congratulations to the Celtics. 18 titles. I don't feel like the Lakers, who have 17, are quite in position to catch up anytime soon. They don't even have a head coach yet. Apparently, they interviewed J.J. Redick over the weekend, but have yet to make any decisions or announcements on where's that going. Did you see what Danny Hurley said, though? He said that the Lakers could have made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Oh, so the number wasn't.
But the number wasn't at the point where he had to say yes. And because he kind of wanted to go back to Connecticut and have a chance at a three-peat, he turned him down.
He
turned him down.
He needed to be swayed.
If you're the Lakers, are you going, why didn't we just offer another $20 million?
Right.
What is it's just money.
For them,
we wanted to get our guy, and we could have had him apparently, but we, I guess, cheaped out a little bit. It's hard to say offering $70 million to a coach who's never coached in the NBA is cheaping out, but they could have had him based on those comments, and they chose not to. They tried to get him for the lowest price they could, and he said no and went back to Connecticut.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be the big fish there for a long time.
Then again, the coach that just won the NBA title is 35 years old, was an assistant, coached at a bunch of places you had never heard of before that, and is now on top of the NBA world. He was born in 1988. Joe Mazzulla, the coach of the NBA champions,
13 years
was
old.
born in 1988. If you just wanted to feel a little bit older this morning, that stat just goes, how can I be 13 years older than the coach of the team? Now, I've come to accept I'm older than the players finally, but I have not accepted that I'm a decade older now than the top coaches in some sports.
LeBron's 5 years older than the coach of the winning
Yes, he is.
player.
Yeah, they were dominant last night. They were absolutely dominant the whole series. What a boring NBA Finals. Just as boring as it gets.
Diesel says, Basketball Ben makes his appearance at the end of the show when Woods is cooked. Smart.
Very smart.
Your
I'm not even going to defend.
Your defenses are down.
Taking
There's
advantage
not
of me.
much you can do to stop me at this point.
When I'm weak and ineffectual right now. No, I mean, the Padres drain me. They really do. Talking about the Padres drains me. Seeing millions upon millions of, not millions, but thousands of tweets, and I fully understand where people are coming from now. It is a really tough watch. And you look up, you're like, oh, cool, 4-0, 3-0, 5-0, 5-1. It's just a joke. It's a joke. They got to figure it out. And again, Connie Mack seemingly couldn't get this team going. Billy Martin, Joe Torre, whoever. Just it's got to come from inside. It's got to come from within. They got to start playing for some pride for this city. And it's just a real frustrating watch right now.
John wants to know, would I shave my head if the Padres win the World Series?
Yes. And if he doesn't, I'll do it for him.
Give you the old Landon Donovan.
I mean, you've been at Channel 10 for 20 years. We're going to fire you because you shaved your head?
I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about it not coming back.
It will come back.
Are you sure?
Yeah, thicker and bushier.
No,
and blacker.
not at this age.
Yeah, thicker, bushier, and blacker.
Not sure about that.
Bush.
You know that I take pride in my non-gray, naturally colored hair at this stage of my life.
Well, there's a couple in there.
There's a couple. But once we shave it, are they all coming back gray?
Maybe.
I don't want that. I'm not ready for that. So I'm going to go with no.
It'd be a good little silver
early,
fox.
who was asking if we would sell our soul for a Padres World Series title? No, I would not.
I don't have one to sell.
Why can't we just
win a normal one?
Why can't we just have a general manager and a manager who makes some good decisions, put some players
and
together,
some players that care and go out and bust some ass?
Why do I have to sell my soul to win a baseball title for this town?
Absolutely not.
If anyone else wants to, go ahead. But I'm not really inclined to spend the rest of eternity in eternal torment
Janine nails
just to win this one World Series.
Janine nails it, as she usually does. They say they were so embarrassed last year, they haven't changed a thing. Not one thing. Not one thing has changed. The record's the same.
Exactly. 37 and 39.
Not
exactly.
A thing has changed.
Well, Peter called it, a once in a lifetime collapse in 2021.
It's like
payroll
again
is
in
down
2023.
Payroll's down $90 million. They did change that.
That's great. All right. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
We're going to sound a little worse for wear, just so you know.
Yeah, either way. Hopefully it's worse for wear after a win or two. We'll find out. Annie and Elston coming up next for Paulie and Woods. I'm Ben. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody. So long.